everyone. I'm Son of Sparta 666, and I'm here with my boy Zephyrwolf18.
Sup, this is Zephyrwolf18.
Hey, here we go. So we have the latest and greatest in all the Neo Geo news. The Neo Geo swap got announced yesterday. It was pretty dope. Our boy Zach here went all the way over to LA and tested out the Neo Geo swap, and he said that King of Fighters 15 looks even more like a Nintendo 64 game. And
Yeah,
also,
Polygon's good. Polygon's looking good.
Samurai Shodown Muso got announced. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Also, Windjammers 2?
Don't forget about legs, man.
Fuck. Okay. Can we...
This joke sucks.
This joke's bad. Oh. I'm Rosin.
I'm Zach.
So, the Nintendo Switch got shown off yesterday, and the little fucking privileged boy Zach over here got to go to Nintendo HQ. Actually, where the fuck was it?
It was in like a hotel.
Oh.
Excuse me, it was a private event. The location was not made public.
Oh, okay. Zach got to go to Hotel Mario and play the Nintendo Switch. So we thought we'd be like on the ball in terms of peak journalist coverage of the Nintendo Switch and kind of talk about it and just it's a good excuse for a podcast after 5 hours of Legend of Dragoon discourse, I think. So
yeah, this one will be slightly less garbage.
Yeah, so
or more garbage.
Yeah, I honestly...
No way to tell for sure.
I honestly don't have too much to talk about in terms of like a recap of what I've been playing / watching or really doing. I started a bunch of different stuff and I finished up a bunch of different stuff, but like part of it is that I have like a top 10 video that I literally just need to record a script for. So I finished up Mankind Divided. Well, I'm not done, but I got close and I watched the ending just because I wanted to save time and I'm terrible. But also I like am one mission away from beating Doom. I'm one mission away from beating Titanfall 2. One of these days I'm just gonna sit down and have the greatest like beat every game like Saturday ever. But that has not been a thing yet, so you'll hear more about my thoughts about a lot of that stuff in that top 10 video and talk about everything I've kind of been playing in the past few months on and off there mostly. I bought a few things that I don't even really know if I'll get around to or not, so I don't know. I'm kind of being torn every which way between what I want to spend time on, but I've been making a shit ton of videos, if you haven't noticed recently, by the way. I'm not saying that I have like a good like month-long buffer in terms of Let's Play content, but I kind of do. Also, you started a tabletop podcast, and also I have a bunch of different video ideas for like video essay things that if I stop being a coward and like accept that my writing probably isn't as bad as I think it is, I can probably do that and get some good videos out there. But other than that, I don't got anything really to talk about. Zach, Zephyrwolf18, you're gonna be the star of the show here.
Oh boy. Well, here's the awkward bit because I also don't have too much to talk about.
Fuck this podcast.
No, I've got a few things. I've got more than you do.
Oh, okay.
I started playing Drakengard 3 to get ready for Nier Automata. I'm gonna play through Drakengard 3, and then I'm gonna play through Nier, and then maybe not at launch, but after I'm done with both of those, get Automata.
Oh yeah, we're doing a Drakengard Let's Play at some point. We discussed that.
Some point. That's why I'm not playing one, because
Yeah.
I'm just gonna let him take care of that one. So yeah, I will probably talk more about that when I finish it. I've got a lot to say, as I think most people that play that game do, but my thoughts on that will be, hey, I'm gonna finish it, so that's more I can say than one. So that's going good. Main thing is that I saved up all the money I possibly could, combined it with Christmas money, then sold back pretty much every gift I got for Christmas, and combined all of this to buy a computer. So I've got like a legit, not the best in the world, but pretty damn good gaming PC now. And the only thing I've had the money to do with it so far is play XCOM 2, which I've put about 10 hours into now, and like a lot. So that's
also
been a lot of fun.
Just want to say, I don't know if the deal's still good, but I guess I need to cough. I need to announce this. If you go to the Humble Bundle website and you subscribe to Humble Monthly for this month, which is January 2017, you can get XCOM 2 for like Well, I got okay. So my sub was like $10.50. I'm not sure if it's because I bought a Humble bundle recently. So I don't know if I got a discount because of that or what. But I
Mine
got
was 12.
yeah. So well, I mean that's like a $1.50 difference. But like you can get XCOM 2 for real cheap, which is good because when that game was on sale over like the winter months and all that, like for the holiday sales and stuff, it went down to 30. So that's like 1/4 the regular price, which is pretty solid. So jump on that if you're interested.
Definitely worth checking out. And I'm kind of looking forward to being able to check out like, ooh, what's on the Humble bundle this month, you know? Like
Yeah.
I'm really excited. I've wanted this computer for so long, so I'm glad to be in there, you know.
So I never have been the biggest PC gamer in my life, and I mean, so like my last laptop I got is where I mostly started to get into it more just because I could finally fucking play things. I had like a brief period where we had a pretty decent computer for the time, but that was in like the early 2000s, and like I was still young, and like I was like, oh, I have a PlayStation 2 and GameCube. Why do I need these? Uh, so I never really got that much into PC gaming. So I got into it just when I got a better laptop, and I'm like, I probably won't play that many PC games. And then like between Humble things being a thing and Steam sales, like eventually it's like, oh, I guess I have about 200 games on Steam. Okay, I guess that happened. So it adds up over time.
Definitely. I've already got like because when the Steam sales were a thing before I even got my computer, I bought like KOTOR 2 and Crusaders Kings 2,
Yeah.
and those are just sitting there waiting for me.
I do find myself, and Zach, you might fall into this too. I know a lot of people that do this actually. Um, there's like an element of future proofing I feel with Steam that I like. I bought both Hyperlight Drifter on PS4 and on Steam. I have a feeling that in like 8 years down the line, my PS4 is going to be in my closet somewhere with my copy of Hyperlight Drifter on there, but I'll always have a computer with Steam on it where I can just install that right away, you know? Like, there's a weird element to that of like longevity too that I kind of feel other consoles lack, so.
Yeah, definitely, I can see that. I mean, I'll always prefer physical discs on a console. That's just how I grew up. It's what I know.
Same.
But I'm I'm getting used to digital future, and I'm getting used to PC. So you know, we'll see. Um, you know, I'm just the options are open, and that's all I ever wanted. You know, because there's PC games that I want to try out, and I'll
Yeah.
get some time.
Also, another thing I wanna just shout out real quick. I did last time because Amanda actually gifted me copies using the site, but Green Man Gaming does this thing where they basically give you an Amazon Prime discount for PC games, but like I'm saying Amazon Prime discount because they do this thing where if you pre-order a game on Amazon Prime, you get like I think it's like 20% off. It goes down to $48, and then it's usually about 50 with tax included, which is fucking great. And Green Man Gaming always has these sales. You don't need a membership or anything. You just need to sign in with your email. Where almost every new PC release on Green Man Gaming, like of note, is about $48, and then you add in the tax. Really good deal if you're looking for AAA releases. Like I would recommend them over Steam. The only thing though, they just give you a Steam key for anyone wondering. The only thing though to keep in mind is that like if the game doesn't end up running, then you can't refund it. So maybe watch out for that. But yeah, that's PC gaming has a lot of good deals and stuff going around if you know where to look. It's pretty cool. Shoutouts to Cheap Ass Gamer too. They're another good site that catalogs good deals and stuff.
Yes. Yeah. Well, what runs fine is XCOM 2. Don't have too much to say about XCOM 2, but if you played the last one, Enemy Unknown / Enemy Within, I believe, very similar. They upped a lot of stuff, added a lot of cool features like destructible environments, you know, stuff like that. Nothing too radical, but just enough new to make it be like, okay, this is gonna be my definitive XCOM moving forward. You know, like I'm never gonna go back to the old one.
Yeah,
So I'm really having fun with that. I did the thing where I named all the soldiers after people I know. So
that's always fun.
yeah, it's a good time.
Um,
Uh,
I guess we ran out of things to talk about. I guess no.
no, there's one more.
Okay.
So moving on from video games for a moment, I read part 5 of JoJo. Um, Vin, Vinto
I
Oreo,
actually think it's straight up Oreo.
Vinto Oreo.
Yeah, I think that's
So
straight
vintage
up what it's supposed to
Oreos.
be. Yep, vintage Oreos.
Vintage Oreos is a pretty good JoJo part. Um, it's pretty good. The first half is pretty weak. The second half is really, really strong. Um, I know, Rosin, you made a video a couple years ago, and you weren't too fond of it.
Oh, I kind of forgot I made that, to be honest, but
Oh,
no, I kind of reflect a lot of the thoughts a lot of people that don't like Part 5 have of just like I don't like the cast as much. Actually, we needed to talk about it. It has, I think, a Rogue One problem. um, I like
oh,
the excuse me. I like the cast, but I feel like I didn't get to know them as well as I wanted to.
yeah.
I kind of felt like the stand fight of the week thing, while in many ways handled better than parts 3 and 4, got a little bit more repetitive for me, and I don't know if it's just because like it's me reading these in close proximity rather than, the years apart that they were in real life. Um, but yeah, and also too, like, that villain was really weak to me, and that's like half the fun for a JoJo part for me, so. Like,
Definitely the weaker of the villains, you know. So
I guess actually too, I really dig Giorno's power, and I really dig the antagonist. I don't want to, I guess, spoil the antagonist stand power too. I feel like the way they're handled could have been more interesting. With both the protagonist and the villain, actually, I feel like there are elements of their power that like get brought up just a couple times, and I'm not even talking about towards the end where there's some controversial stuff, but like there's a few things that show up once and I'm like, oh, I kind of want to see how they like utilize that later, and then they kind of never do. So, but
yeah. I will say though, like Giorno's kind of the worst JoJo so far. But while you said that you didn't really get to know the cast, I feel like the main like three side characters are like the real main characters. Like Bruno,
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 Narancia, and Mista, or
Bruno, Narancia, and Mista.
yeah,
Those guys by the end of that part, they were the main characters kinda, and
yeah,
they're really cool. Like part five's worth it just for those three.
they're good kids.
The I guess I won't spoil the moment because there's probably going to be an anime, but if you've read part 5, you know what I'm talking about or played any of the games, but Bruno's battle cry gimmick is the strongest one yet.
I think that part 5 I'm going to. I know I said I wanted to reread part 5. I think I'm honestly just gonna wait for it to be a because I think Vento Oreo compared to everything in JoJo's, I think it's the one that has the most to gain from being adapted into animated form. I think the
if
best parts of part 5 are gonna really be fleshed out and really be shown off when it's in motion like that.
if they don't drag it out like they did part 3, it will be a really good anime.
I honestly feel like they learned their lesson with that when they did 4. Like I think honestly I think 4 was just they fucking knew what they were doing with how they paced that out compared to the other adaptation. Well, I mean, 1 and 2 wasn't the worst, I guess, but like 3
Well,
was.
no, one and two were. I mean, I really like the anime for 3, but like, oh man, it got really boring at times.
You get to some parts where it's obvious that they're really stretching for time to fill in 52 episodes, and it got really kind of
Yeah.
meh.
Well, hopefully, whenever Part 5 gets adapted, it gets that like part the recognition it kind of deserves.
It's
And
about
I
as long as part 4 too, so I think they could get away with
the 39 episodes.
yeah.
Well, I also started Part 6. Um, only about like 3 volumes into that, but so far I like that one a lot.
Okay.
You know, we'll see where it goes, but I like Part 6 a lot so far.
You're
The first
you're
3 volumes.
you are a very interesting JoJo. I guess that's the name for JoJo fans. I don't know. Um I think most people either really dislike part 5 or really dislike part 6. I guess I'm kind of weird cuz I don't really care for either. Um it's I'm still going through part 6 myself. I'm only like I think 4 volumes in, but like I I don't know. Like part of me wonders if it's just the formula that kind of kills me sometimes, but
Well, that's kind of the thing, though. Part 6 so far doesn't really follow the formula. It kind of feels more like what Part 4 was doing, where it's like, we're still JoJo, but we're gonna have a different kind of pace and setting, you know?
Yeah, I guess I just mean more like the fight a volume type of thing is kind of like that flow, that ebb and flow to it.
I mean, it's always gonna be a shonen series at its heart, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm excited to get to Steel Ball Run, because I don't know. I
Oh,
think
I know very little to almost nothing about Steel Ball Run other than there's horses involved.
yeah. Well, I mean it is, but I know that it shakes things up in terms of how it normally works, so I kind of want to see what that's all about. I mean, I did read the first like volume or two just cuz I was bored one day, but I don't know. That seems neat. So I should actually, now that you're reading it, I should probably finish up part 6 too. I just like Jolene's cool, but like I don't really care about anyone else really in the part so far that I've met.
Yeah, I haven't really met many. Like, there's been a couple characters introduced, but she's very clearly the focus right now.
You met the little fucking crazy parakeet lady.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of forgot about that until right
So
Oh,
Nintendo.
yeah. No, I was gonna say I've been reading Berserk on and off forever, but I feel like I shouldn't talk about Berserk until I get caught up, which is gonna take a while yet. So I also I bought Tomie, which is apparently one of Junji Ito's biggest like big name series or whatever. So I want to read that at some point. I'm actually going to be reading that digitally using that Amazon Comixology app, which I've always heard really good things about, but I've never. I mean, I don't really read comics or manga all that much, other than like JoJo, Berserk, and a few other things that catch my eye. So, but I've been kind of on a Junji Ito kick ever since about Halloween or so. So I'm probably gonna give that a try. So yeah. Um. So Nintendo, unless you have
Yeah.
anything else.
Nope, that's me.
Okay. So Nintendo, it's the year of our Lord 2017, and Nintendo, they're coming in hard. They're discontinuing the Wii U, and they're like, hey, fuck that shit. This is exactly what they said actually. Reggie said, fuck that shit. The Nintendo Switch is going to be our new God King amongst men. Suck my dick, Xbox One and PS4. Then he threw it on the table. It was a really awkward presentation. Um, no, but there's a presentation for the Nintendo Switch recently, and well, we did that thing. Well, I don't know, Zach, if you've done this before. You like joined our little band of the Hawk here, but like for as long as I can remember, every time there's a big dumb video game press event thing, I always get into a Skype group with my friends and we just like fuck around and
Rosin, I have a question.
yeah.
Am I the Iggy of your Stardust Crusaders?
No, because you're not ugly
Mm,
and you're
well,
not. At least as far as I know, you haven't farted in anyone's face. But
that you know of. Just wait until a
yeah.
future in this call.
Oh. Oh no. Hold on, let me call up my friend Pet Shop.
Sorry, I didn't mean to break your flow. But yeah, no, I did it for a couple of things. We did like the Game Awards and stuff together, but
Oh yeah, that's
yeah,
true.
no, this is it was fun.
Yeah, so I got into a call with all of my greatest friends. That's gonna be really douchey anyone who wasn't in that call, so I'm gonna retract that. Some of my greatest friends.
The only people Rosin actually likes were in this call.
Okay. So yeah, and we just talk shit over the Switch presentation as friends do. So I guess if we want to run down and talk about this, so it opened up with was it 1-2 Switch?
I don't remember. No, it opened up with like there was like 15 to 20 minutes of them talking about like system specs and
Oh yeah,
controllers.
well they had that great slide where they just said it was just Nintendo Switch region locking, and I'm like, are they just saying it straight up like, yeah, this is region locked as a thing? Like, there should have been a no region locking there, because if someone just takes a photo of that screen, it looks like, oh, they're talking about how it's region locked. It was kind of dumb. Um,
Ooh,
yeah,
online services though.
Yeah. Okay. So I do want to talk about region locking real quick.
Okay.
I don't import. You know what? I've only imported one thing in my life, and I talked about it on that shitty podcast where Johnson and Ryborg were on, and we shilled soda for some fucking reason. By the way, I have a Diet Coke here.
Hold on, gotta take a sip of my Diet Pepsi.
Oh wait, shit. I have Pepsi too. Actually, I lied.
Yeah. Okay. Back to the podcast.
Oh, that's good.
Ah, that's good shit.
Oh, okay.
Fuck us.
Yeah, I know. Please, we're desperate. No.
Oh.
So, so region locking or the lack thereof. We've been on this for 3 minutes now. I don't import much shit, like I said in that one podcast I referenced. I did import Gundam Breaker 3, which that was actually a really cool decision. I really liked that game. I guess like now that I have a more stable income, actually I'll talk about that when I talk about my pre-order of the Switch. Like I'd be more curious to see, but also too like, man, can you think of any Wii U Japan only games that like you really felt like we missed out on? Because I can't. I personally
Oh.
can't. Yeah, like
If I'm gonna import video games, it's gonna be like PlayStation shit, honestly.
honestly, yeah. If I'm gonna import shit, I can see myself doing a bunch of like weird licensed anime bullshit for the PS4 and my Vita TV, and that's about it. So
But I am glad it's there, you know? Hey,
it's cool,
hey,
yeah.
like, especially for Europe, they can import games that they don't get sooner, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's always what I kind of forget Europe has to do with all that bullshit most of the time. So yeah. You know what though? So
Then everyone forgets about Europe.
oh, I hate to be this kind of asshole, but from what I've seen in like NDA reports and just like general stuff, it seems like a lot of so console gaming has gone to shit in Japan in terms of sales numbers. Everyone, has kind of known that for a while now, but it seems like Europe is starting to slowly decline in interest. Like apparently PS4 and Xbone did pretty good for a while there, but like it seems like interest is slowly dying out at a faster rate than like compared to North America and even South America, it sounds like. So I'm curious to see if that'll affect that market there. But I like on an industry level, I'm curious to see how that works, but also too, like what's always bad for the industry isn't always bad for consumers. Case in point, Steam has devalued the worth of what a game costs in the open marketplace, but like I don't know anyone that would personally complain about that on an individual level. So I'm curious to see how that works out for them over there. But I am glad they made the decision because honestly, region locking is pretty bullshit, and they are the only ones who still did that, right?
I don't know about Xbox. I never really looked into it.
I know PS3 didn't have it. PS2 I think was region locked.
PS2 was region locked. PS3 and 4 were not. The PSP was not. The Vita's not.
Oh god, I was about to say the Wii wasn't region locked, and then I realized that I hacked my Wii to make it not region locked. So
No, Wii was definitely
Wii was region locked. I remember because I kind of did the thing where it's like I want to play Xenoblade, and yeah, so but yeah. No, so there's that. But you did reference the online service thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be completely honest. There's two things about the. Well, okay, so there's actually three. First, Nintendo really needs to prove to me that they know what the fuck they're doing with their online infrastructure for once, or else, like, I'm sorry, but I've been disappointed with your free service. I can't. I honestly, even with Sony, like when Sony was like, "Hey, you need to pay for PlayStation Plus now," I was like, not sure how I feel about that, but I have to eat crow. I've had better, maybe not download speed. Well, actually, no. What I'll say download speeds on PS4 while they're still shit. They're at least better than the PS3s, which were fucking garbage. I will say though, my online experience with multiplayer PS4 games has, in my opinion, been way better than everything I played on PS3. I feel, and that feels a little bit more stable. And I do like the PS Plus lineup. There's a lot of cool stuff that I know a lot of people really don't like PS Plus and like the games they give away, but like there's cool shit in there like Fury or This War of Mine, and I think a lot of like it's introduced me
Well,
to
a lot of
some
people
cool stuff.
a lot of people just want AAA games, and it's like
Those
you
people
know,
are idiots. Like,
well,
you're
because
not gonna.
back before it was mandatory, that's what they got.
Yeah.
You know, they got like 1 to 2 year old AAA games, but honestly, in the modern age, I'd rather get cool indie games that I wouldn't otherwise buy. You know?
My thing with AAA games too is it's like, dude, just go down to GameStop and buy them for $20 in like a year. Like it's not they're not
Yeah,
that expensive
with your
anyways.
Pro membership card.
No, there's a bunch of like cool looking indie games I just have in my PS4 library, and I'm like, I should download and try this out one day.
Yep.
There's like 5 games I have like that. I still want to try out Invisible Ink because I've heard the name before. I don't even know what the fuck that game is, but I have it. So, um, but yeah, so yeah, Nintendo has to prove to me that they can do the online thing right before I want to fucking pay for it. The second is honestly, I don't know if I want to pay possibly over $100 a year just so I can have premium online for 2 different services.
Yeah, no, 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 no. It's gonna
That's
be one or the other for me.
yeah, I think there's that. Actually, you know what? I have 4 things.
Yeah, honestly,
There's a
yeah,
lot going on here. Um, third is that hey, when you say hey, you got to pay for online, maybe the only online multiplayer thing you show off shouldn't be just one game.
one game that which game are you referring to? Because
Splatoon 2.
so one game that honestly isn't going to be that different from the one you can play on your Wii U for free.
No one has a Wii U though, so I think that's at least partially in their
Yeah,
favor. But
I
honestly,
just feel like do Nintendo games really need to be online?
yeah. I do. Zach, you said a thing last night, and I've been saying this for a while now too. I kind of hate to say it. I think Overwatch kind of filled the gap
Yep.
that Splatoon had in so many people's hearts, and
I own a copy of Splatoon. I really loved that game for about the 2 weeks that I had it before I picked up Overwatch.
I
I will never go back to it.
I'm gonna say something that maybe not everyone will agree with too. But in terms of like the maybe not aesthetic, but like in terms of being a flashy, hip and cool, like energetic, lighthearted, fun shooter thing with where the whole thing is, hey, as a service, we're gonna have a shit ton of good content updates. I think Overwatch blew Splatoon out of the water.
Yeah, I don't think that that's really a competition at this point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like Splatoon, they gave you a couple maps, and then also it's like, oh, are cats or dogs better, right? Like, wasn't that mostly it? Like, you
Yeah.
didn't really get modes, you didn't get like the skins.
I think you got a couple of modes and skins and weapons, but nothing like new characters, you know?
Yeah, and it's man,
It's
like
certainly not new modes like Overwatch gives you.
opening up Overwatch and just being like, oh, Sombra's in is fucking cool, you know? Like that's a great feeling.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, and then the fourth thing, yo, hear about that the free game thing for the premium subscription? How those work?
Oh yeah, I did.
The people defending this, I don't understand. It's literally just worse PS Plus. It's so for those who don't know, you basically get a old NES or SNES ROM that has been upgraded so that it has online multiplayer, but it's only free for that month, even with the subscription. And then after the month passes, if you want to keep playing it, you need to buy it. So it's really just a free demo.
Yep.
So
No thanks.
yeah, no, and you know what? Hey,
There's a fifth thing too, by the way.
oh god, I just want to say real quick. I personally can't see myself doing this over just emulator net play because that has worked fine since like 2007. I've played full games of Mario Party with people from across the world and like for years now. Um and like hey, I'm sorry, but after like month 13, do they really have that many good multiplayer old NES and SNES games they can do that to?
Well, that's the thing because they're not actually being given to you. They're not, you know, they
Yeah.
can just repeat, you
Fuck,
know?
you're right. Oh god, that's awful.
What's even more awful is part 5 of the Switch Online fiasco is that it's all tied to a fucking mobile app.
Hmm. Fuck, you're right. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's not good either.
Man, sorry, kid that doesn't have. I mean, I know kids that don't have phone these days don't exist, but like, tying your online for your home console to a mobile app is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Just make it in the fucking console.
You know what? I'm actually gonna go out on a limb. I feel like that, like, I know. Mhm. They're gonna be really they need to be very open with what devices they allow that in, because like I'm not saying that third world countries are gonna probably be really negatively impacted by
Oh,
that, but like
yeah.
there are some places where it's like they go for the cheapest and like most economically viable options they have in terms of smart devices, and like if the Switch stuff isn't on there, like sucks to be you guys, and like hey, those people play video games too, so
It's just like in general tying things like parental controls and like online settings to a mobile app instead of a fucking settings tab in the system.
yeah.
Like,
The
why?
online the
Oh,
the online settings to me were like that's weird but okay, but then when I saw that parental controls were on the phone, I'm like that's just weird, like
it's such a Nintendo
I
thing.
know it's like, but I remember too because we were talking in that group. We're like, okay, what's gonna be the dumb Nintendo thing that every piece of Nintendo hardware has? And then they're like, it's tied to a smartphone app, and it's like, oh, we got it.
Yep, there it
So
is. There it is.
we found it right off the bat. So yeah, spec wise, I don't really. Those were the big two for that intro part there. I think I can't think
Well,
of anything
no,
else.
man, you're forgetting the biggest and most important part:
The glass,
the ice
the
cubes.
ice cubes.
Have you ever wanted to feel like you were holding a glass with ice cubes in it, Rosin?
Oh well, I mean,
Get the fuck ready for the Nintendo Switch, baby.
yeah, boy. Oh man, that was a very interesting. So here's my thing. I love the idea that they're like, "Yo, we need to sell people on the Rumble." It's like, "Oh my god, I feel like I'm in elementary school again," and I'm like, "Oh my god, the Rumble pack." I remember when I bought my Rumble pack. It came with a copy of Star Fox 64. I was the most excited child. I was like, "It's like I'm actually in the game." Good times. And
I
then
loved the bit where they went through all the controllers they've had in the past, and we were just going like, "Yeah, that was garbage. That one sucked."
yeah.
It's
Uh,
like we've put all the controllers together.
yeah, yeah, I love how they pulled that shit. It's like, yeah, we're the fucking like DBZ fusion of controllers. It's like, who? Fuck off! Like you just made another controller. Stop that. Um, we were coming off as really negative, but I think the general consensus in that group was, man, they really botched the intro part of that conference.
Yes.
Um,
I'm like, hey, like the thing is too, I'm not gonna talk too much about the presentation because a lot of my stuff is gonna be in the part coming after this. So
yeah. We're just going in chronological order, folks. So, um, I guess then we got the first look at our hot new Switch title 1-2 Switch, which I, I'm I guess I'm not I don't know. I'm not surprised something like that exists. I am surprised that it's not a Wii Sports esque pack in, because I think that's kind of what they need to rekindle that fire that the Wii had a little bit. Um,
it honestly it should have been a bundle. I don't know why it
that
isn't.
thing is $50 separate. I don't.
Nope.
Yeah, no thanks. Maybe when it goes down to like 10. Sorry, it's a first party Nintendo thing, so that thing's gonna be 50 for fucking ever. So never mind.
No, it's
Um,
fine. When the next console comes out, it'll be $10.
yeah. Oh god. And you know what? I'm not even against games like that, because, like, I don't know, I'm sorry, but, like, I bought Wii Sports Resort at launch, and, like, I want to say I've spent over, like, a good 50 hours with friends and family just, like, sword fighting or doing archery, like, those mini games, or even, like, the advanced, not shit physics bowling that they had that I know some people actually don't like because regular Wii Sports bowling was so piss easy, but,
Yeah.
um,
I mean, I think the main thing for me, and I may be jumping the gun a little bit here, but like across the board, my overall consensus on this kind of thing is like Nintendo really doesn't get the prices yet because everything is too expensive.
even accessories.
Accessories are way too expensive. The
$70
game,
for the Pro controller is the
70 bucks for the
worst.
Pro controller. Apparently, I not confirmed rumor that I heard. You could look this up yourself. Apparently, the controller that comes with the system is not the one that can be charged while you're playing.
I've
So if you
been
want that, you've got to spend another $30.
I've been looking into that, and like there's two gaff threads actually where it was just people arguing back and forth about that, and I looked on Nintendo's site and they just say it's a controller and they don't say if it charges or not. I really hope it's the charge one, but
Well, we'll see. And then like
Yeah.
games that should be $20 or $60, games that should be $5 or 40. You
Yeah.
know, but we'll get to that.
I think I heard somewhere that Bomberman is like 60.
Yep,
Oh, fuck off. You know what?
Bomberman is 60.
I have more of an emotional connection to Bomberman than most people do. Bomberman 64 Hero and 64 2. No, it was called 64 The Second Attack. It wasn't called 64 2. But those three games were actually really like important to me when I was like 5 years old, and like I played the stupid ass Bomberman Jetters GameCube game. Like I am a bigger Bomberman fan than I let on, and even I'm like, I don't know if I want to get that for 60 at that. I don't know. So yeah, shit's expensive.
Yep.
Then we saw Arms, I guess, which looked okay. I don't. We talked about this last night. I'm kind of confused who Arms is for. I guess because I feel like what that is that's like for like people like, hey, show your like your kids are gonna love Arms, like that sort of, which is a
Yeah.
really weird sentence to say.
I love sentences you can make with this game's title.
Yeah, but I think this is supposed to be like, hey, it's like Wii Boxing but wackier and like an actual full game or something. I don't know.
My impressions upon when I watched the video, not today,
Yeah.
when I watched the video, was that like this will be a game for someone. That someone's not me, but
Yeah, it looked weird. I'm not that interested, but yeah, unless later on the revelations that it's super legit come, but I'll wait for that part of this. It's really weird because like we have the first-hand experience, but we're both kind of pretending that it's not for the sake of chronicling our Switch impressions. So this is weird.
It's a journey. You're going on the journey with us.
That's all We Are Finally podcast is about. Oh, actually, fuck no, we'll get to that. But actually, fuck it. Let's talk about it now. No More Heroes 3 is a thing.
No More Heroes 3 is a thing.
And I wasn't expecting it because a couple years ago, Suda's like, yeah, maybe in 10 more years. So I actually kind of took that at face value because Suda's weird and I can see him being like, Travis is a middle-aged man now, as like a thing on PlayStation 5 or something. But
Yeah.
no, so this may be a little dumb, but I'm happy it's on the Switch because I'm very weird with No More Heroes because I'm one of those people that I honestly think that the motion controls for that title are a little overrated because there's the PS3 version of 1, and in 2, no, most people don't know this actually. In 2, you can just play that with the classic controller.
Yep.
Which no one notices, but like I actually prefer playing them just on the gamepad, but I am happy that it's on the Switch because hey, if you want that motion control, just fucking take the Joy-Con, it's right there.
It's a masturbation joke.
Yeah, it is.
They want to be able to do that joke again.
Yeah, they do. You know what? Good on Suda. I guess. I don't know.
I'm excited. Cool boss fights, cool music. Give it to me. I'll never turn that down.
It's almost like we named our podcast after No More Heroes final boss theme or something.
Oh.
Sometimes I forget that and then I remember it.
Yeah. Moving on.
Yeah. No, I mean, I guess I thought I was gonna have more to say about No More Heroes 3, but yeah, honestly, I want to see Travis again. I hope Travis is still the biggest fucking shithead, because
I hope the game is called the stupid thing that was on his shirt.
Travis Strikes Back.
Yeah, whatever that was. I hope that's just what the game is called.
That'd be interesting.
Just to make people go, like, just to have that weird element of like, oh, couldn't you have just called it No More Heroes 3? No. It's Travis Strikes Back. It's the Lightning Returns of No More Heroes.
Yes. So, yeah, that's the thing. I'm looking forward to it, but I think he even said, like, I don't even have anything to show right now at the presentation. This is far off, but I just want to say it's a project that's being worked on. So it's like, you know what? Good enough.
I have no idea what he said at the presentation because the translator could not keep up with that man.
Oh, God, yeah, that's true. what else did they show off? They showed off there was stuff between, like, what did they show right after the
I don't.
after Arms? I can't quite
I
remember.
don't remember.
But
I mean, like, I can remember the big stuff that like we reacted to, like this,
oh yeah,
the
Fire Emblem
game.
Warriors.
Oh yeah, Fire Emblem Warriors. I hey,
You're the Muso fanboy here. Tell
I
us
am
about
the
Fire
Muso
Emblem
fanboy.
Warriors. You don't wait, hold on. You're a Muso fan, but you don't. What's your Fire Emblem experience?
Fucking nothing.
No.
So
Hey, hold on. You played Tokyo Mirage Sessions #FE?
I did. So that's the thing. When
Yeah.
Tokyo Mirage Sessions was going to be SMT Cross Fire Emblem, I was like, oh, this will be the excuse to play all the Fire Emblem games. When that changed, I really didn't feel that obligation anymore.
You should play
Now this will
Sacred.
be the excuse.
You should play Sacred Stones. It's like the only one I
I'm
really
I'm gonna
like.
go back. I'm gonna go back to the old ones, give them all a try. I own Awakening. I've given like the first hour a shot, but
I
you know,
I actually recommend. I think a good one to start with is Sacred Stones, and I'm not just saying that because it's my favorite too. It was like, oh, we need to make this like more accessible for the Western people
yeah.
game. And I think they actually do a really good job. And that game's kind of been vindicated a little bit because back in the day when I was young, I was like, I like Sacred Stones, and then everyone on the internet is like, hey, you like the casual one, and then Awakening happened, and everyone's like, Sacred Stones is cool now. So yes, but um,
Sacred Stones is not the one that's just called Fire Emblem over here.
no, it's the one that came right after. The one that's
Okay.
just called Fire Emblem is Fire Emblem 7, I want to say, in Japan. So
Okay.
it's called like oh god. There's three GBA ones. Fire Emblem 6 is called like, well, so here's the thing with Fire Emblem 6. It translates to like three different fucking things. It's either Sword of Seals, the Sealed Sword, or Binding Blade, and there's a bunch of different official and unofficial translations that use different shit. So I just call it Fire Emblem 6. That's the one with Roy. Don't play that one. That one fucking sucks. That's actually one of the most hated.
Okay.
Um it's also really fucking hard, and apparently to get the true ending, you actually need to like collect a bunch of like weird, like super hard to get hidden weapons in the maps. And if you
Oh
just
gee,
if
I would never play a game like that.
I know, right? But apparently it's a thing of like if you miss one, you just get the shit ending. Joke's on you, fuck off, kid.
Yeah.
And like they're all really hard to get apparently. So I played like 3 levels of it, and like I got to a point where I'm like, I can't beat this, and I was like, okay, I'm good. I mean, I'm not the best at Fire Emblem. There's a Path of Radiance stream out there where I make some bad decisions that you can all watch if you can find it. But that one's like, eh. Fire Emblem 7 is pretty cool. It actually does like a thing where it's like it kind of follows a bunch of different characters, and like they redid this with Awakening onwards, but they kind of have you create your little OC character, and it's like, hey, you're the guy who's our little leader, and like you kind of follow. You're not like a playable unit. You just kind of the thing is like, oh, you're the tactician who's slightly off to the side, telling everyone where to go. Um, and then Sacred Stones was kind of like more of a casualized type thing, and it was the last GBA game if I recall. And then yeah, it kind of went onwards with the GameCube and Wii ones, and then Awakening and stuff happened. Fire Emblems, I've went on this thing before. Fire Emblem's a thing where it's like I like a few of them. I really like Genealogy of the Holy War. That was actually the first one I played when I was a kid, and I just kind of found a fan translated patch of it. And like I really dug it. Sacred Stones I like a lot, but like the rest of them I don't really feel like are for me. Awakening and Onward actually like addressed a few complaints I had with the series, but also they kind of did the SMT4 Apocalypse thing of like they kind of made it a bit more generic, and like I don't know, it kind of like it's kind of shitty to say, but like both the art style and also like the weird anime humor and stuff, it's like I don't really want that from Fire Emblem, I guess. I don't know. So like I
There's
have
waifus.
yeah. Well, that's the other thing too. Apparently, like the way Fates handles the whole like shipping mechanic thing is super forced and like the worst thing ever. And it's like I don't like, I'm fine. So like I know they're good games and like they definitely saved the franchise, but like I don't know, like there's other SRPGs I'd rather play to be honest. So
So here's what I'm excited about.
mm-hmm.
I'm gonna play through some Fire Emblem games because the Warriors spin-offs are kind of doing a thing. They're getting better and better. Like the Warriors series, if anyone doesn't know, is getting better and better with each one. And they do this thing where all of their licensed spinoffs take like something from the source. So like Hyrule Warriors has some like Zelda elements thrown in there. It's a Warriors game like at its core, but there's enough Zelda stuff where it's like, oh yeah, this has got like cool Zelda elements. I know the Dragon Quest ones have some like JRPG elements.
I know you
And
level up and shit, yeah.
yeah, so like what I'm excited about is they've done like tactical stuff before, so I could totally see the Fire Emblem one being like a more tactical Muso game, you know?
Oh, that'd be cool. The Berserk one is actually coming out next month, and I actually have that pre-ordered. I'm really excited for it because I actually think Muso makes perfect sense for Berserk. Like that gameplay system, like it makes sense. Like that's what Guts fucking does. He just carves through armies. So
I should buy that. I'm not going to. I'm gonna be trash and buy the shitty Muso ripoff of Fate Extella.
oh, I started watching Fate Stay Night, by the way, everyone. Better decisions have been made, but
We'll talk about this another time,
we
Razin.
will.
Yeah, other than that, I know.
Hey
like,
everyone, if you haven't looked up Fate Stay Night, you should look up the Wikipedia article for a character named Archer.
Why are you doing this? Why would you do this? Don't do that.
No, you really should. It's a good idea.
Giant, massive spoilers for the whole thing.
It totally won't spoil you on anything very important to the plot in one sentence.
One sentence. You don't even have to click on the article. It's just on.
It's just on Google. Darth Vader is Luke's father in.
Pretty much.
I love Wikipedia. Anyways, Muso games.
Muso games. Yeah, they're good. I like them. People should. I know they're hated on. People should give them more of a try. Hey, give it a try. You never know. You might find something you like.
I feel like I played a couple PS2 ones, and then I played the Gundam ones for PS3, and like they were all pretty unremarkable. But then I think
This
I kind
series
of
has gotten a lot better.
yeah, I feel like I kind of hopped off before it got good. So
Dynasty Warriors 8 Extreme Legends complete on PS4.
oh god, fuck that
Really?
name.
Really good game. Hyrule Warriors, really good game. Like, Jim Sterling has referred to them as like the video game equivalent of stress balls, and like that's totally true.
I don't
Like,
know if I ever
play
told
that
you.
Just you know.
When I got my new 3DS, I actually picked up a copy of Hyrule Warriors Legends because it was like $20 on like an Amazon Lightning deal one day. I just
nice.
I haven't put it in yet, but now that I have the new 3DS, I might as well.
I never did end up buying that one because I don't have a new 3DS. So
Yeah, like
let me know how that runs.
God, that thing was like the most. That game was the most like proving ground of like why incremental hardware differences are actually a big thing, and like any lies they tell you about, oh, your old experience won't be affected is yeah. I mean, even I've heard some not so great things about how Last Guardian runs on old
Yeah.
hardware too now, which is a shame. Did you pick up Last Guardian?
No,
I didn't. I didn't either.
I got it for Christmas and I sold it for my computer.
Oh, I'm curious. It seems cute. I wanna pick it up. I like Shadow of the Colossus. I have fond memories of Eco, but I tried playing that game again, and it's like I want to keep those memories and not ruin them because that game actually kind of controls not that great. But yeah. Anyway, Switch stuff. Zach, we missed out talking about some of the biggest JRPG news coming out of the Switch conference.
Shit.
Xenoblade 2. How about those new character designs? Pretty anime, am I right?
Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Oh boy.
It's yeah, it looks pretty. I know I don't know how I feel about those new character designs, honestly.
I like them honestly. I was never super into the character designs of the previous two games, so I see why people say these are more anime and generic, but I guess I'm just a stupid casual because I like them more.
I like The only thing I hate, I hate the main character's pants. I hope we can change that. But
Oh, well, you've been able to in both of the previous
yeah,
games.
so no, I really I enjoyed the designs of what I played of Xenoblade Chronicles 1. I didn't really play X. I have it, but I mean, I'd rather not play it until I beat the first game. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't think that the first two games designs were anything all that special, but like also you know what, actually it looks actually a little bit more like Xenosaga now that I think about it.
Yeah, I could totally see that.
Um
It's a little bit more like, honestly, like I see those designs and it's like, oh, that's looks like Tails, you know?
oh fuck, you're right. Yeah. It's you know what I think it is, honestly, for me, like I know it's just like the aesthetic, but like I think their eyes could be a bit smaller, just a little bit.
Yeah.
But other than that, I can live with them. So, apparently that's coming out 2017, and I actually.
Bullshit.
So here's the thing, though. So I said that on Twitter, and Brent um said actually they did say with Xenoblade Chronicles X that they want to use that game as a framework for the next systems and like the combat and all that, and the like carry over some of the gameplay stuff from there.
Yeah.
So if they use that as a base, maybe, but also too like,
That game is 2018.
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it got delayed. Honestly, I totally believe that a lot of because like there's a little infographic Nintendo made like here's all the 2017 games, but it's like honestly like they pulled the same shit with the Wii. Remember when SMT Cross FE was like shown at like the very first Wii U thing? Like they do that all the time.
Yeah.
They'll unveil the console and then they'll have a little bit of stuff for everyone, but like I can see some of those being delayed for a few months out or even a couple years out. So,
I'm going super hard on it's not coming out this year, so that when it does, I look like an asshole.
um, there's one other big JRPG release we got to talk about though.
Oh yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Disgaea 5 with all the DLC. That's pretty fucked up, man.
Yeah.
Damn.
No, yeah, honestly, Disgaea 5 is one thing that I've never gotten into Disgaea, but with all the DLC, I think that one's gonna definitely cause some attention.
Mm-hmm. I wish we had more JRPG series where like, you kind of had like the demonic theme going on there. It's really interesting.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, unfortunately, there's nothing for the Switch, you know?
yeah, I know. It's fucking bullshit. Yeah, it looks. So here's my thing with Disgaea. I know that one's apparently not that great. I've always found Disgaea to be kind of subpar. I mean, it's something that I can see who it's for, and like I totally think for that type of person, it's the best shit ever. But like, it's not for me. And like, I think that, like I think that gameplay could be a little better improved than I've only played like a little bit of 2, a little bit of 3, but like I wasn't very impressed with the strategy RPG system. But I've said before I'm very picky when it comes to strategy RPGs in terms of what I like and what I don't like. So I don't know, but I thought it was just a little too slow for my tastes, I guess. And also too, the humor is like those games are the most unfunny games that people say are funny. Like
They're
fuck,
really not funny to me at all.
they're not funny. So they're like they're the Japanese Borderlands.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah. Suck it. I forgot Pitchford, man.
Gearbox.
You guys. Vague entity I know is bad peripherally, kind of, sorta, I guess. Uh Anyways, what else did they show? They showed super duper Bomberman R. What's the name? It's Bomberman R or something, right?
Yeah, Bomberman R.
What does the R stand for?
I don't fucking know.
Okay. Why isn't it S? Whatever. Um. Yeah, that looks cool. I guess I can go for more Bomberman. Showed off
Not for
Ultra.
60.
Yeah, not for that price if it is 60. Um. But $20 less, you could get Ultra Street Fighter 2, which is another version of Street Fighter 2. Thank God we needed one of those. Yeah, it's just the PS3 360 version of Street Fighter 2, but with Evil Ryu and Violent Ken, which was like really weird because Violent Ken is like a thing from one of the Capcom and SNK crossover games that I kind of always just assumed they would never use because it was kind of more of an SNK thing. But hey, Violent Ken's back, so there's a peak. There's like a little weird niche of the fan base that is probably super dying and excited because Violent Ken is back. But yeah.
Yep. Mario.
Oh yeah, we forgot about one of the best. Yeah, Mario Adventure DX is
Oh yeah.
it's coming
Can't hold
out.
on much longer,
I
man.
know. There is a screenshot where Mario is like running past some like weird like bluish goop and it looks like fucking chaos.
Yes. Yes. I just want it to be Mario Adventure DX.
Hey big guy, hey little guy. Oh my god, what if you get to play as Yoshi and Wario and Waluigi and Luigi and they all have different gameplay mechanics? Mm.
Oh man.
And then we get to learn about like Yoshi's weird tribal ancestry and like how the stars are super important. Oh my god, this is great.
7 stars enriched by the heart.
Are we gonna get the shadow equivalent in Mario Odyssey 2?
Oh yes, please. Even though we've already kind of had a Shadow Mario.
Oh fuck.
It's called
We've
Wario.
Oh, you know what's bad? You said that, and I thought about the actual real Shadow Mario that is from Super Mario Sunshine.
The funny thing is, that's who I meant, and then I realized that Wario is the actual answer.
Fuck. Damn. Really makes you
So
think.
anyway, really makes you think.
That game looks great.
I'm so excited for this Mario game, and that's not a sentence I normally say. This is exactly what I wanted it to be. It looks awesome.
It looks really cool. The hat throwing is really... So here's my thing, actually. 3D Mario has always had a problem, and this goes for every game, where even in 3D World, which is, I think we can easily... Well, yeah, I'd say 3D World is more restricted than Galaxy, even. 3D World is probably the most, like, linear, controlled 3D Mario experience, I'd say.
Oh, definitely.
Even in that game, the three-dimensional space enemies aren't too much of a problem generally. Like the Hammer Brother type enemies can be a little annoying, but you're mostly gonna be falling to your death or like getting hit by traps, you know? Like enemies have always been like a problem. Now that Mario has like a problem in terms of they can be avoided or like they're just not that aggressive and Mario can always outmaneuver them really easily. I kind of hope that with the introduction of a better attack than just the little spin attack from Galaxy or jumping on them, or even just the generic Fire Flower. I hope now that he can throw his hat that is more of an excuse to make enemies more of like a thing, and have the game be a little like more even in terms of like the trap and enemy layout type thing. But
yeah, that never really bothered me too much. I'm more excited about the fact that you can use the hat as an extra platforming thing.
yeah, that's
Because
cool
that
too.
opens up the level design so much.
That'll be neat. I'm excited. I hope they can pull off like the real world thing. I can't fucking believe they called something New Donk City. That's the oh god. I don't know what else to say about New Donk. Oh, actually, fuck. Is New Donk City a reference to Donkey Kong?
I can't imagine.
Are we gonna go to New Chunk City?
Ew.
New Lank City?
Ew.
New Crank City?
Yeah.
What was the... Hold on. So there was Cranky Kong in 64.
Yeah.
There was, like, Cranky Kong had a dead wife, right? That gave you
Yeah.
ghostly advice. What was her name again?
Oh shit. She was in the country games.
Yeah, she was, but then she died between games.
Yeah.
Man, that's fucked up, actually.
It was something like. It wasn't like an actual name. It was something like it wasn't like Mama Kong or some shit, but it was something weird like that.
Oh man. Our friend Darian stumbled across. I don't know. I actually don't know how he acquired these, but he got some DK bongos and Jungle Beat, and apparently it was a pretty fun time. So I actually want to go back and emulate Jungle Beat, see if I can.
Wrinkly Kong.
Oh God.
I definitely remembered it and did not Google.
New Rink City.
Ooh.
But yeah. Well, yeah, it's 3D Mario never disappoints. Fuck everyone who hates Sunshine. That game's good. Shut up.
Sunshine's great.
It's a good one. Has like camera problems and a few other weird issues, but it's fine.
It's pretty good.
So I remember hearing rumors and stuff that like Splatoon was originally supposed to be like a Super Mario Sunshine type thing. And like I don't know if that ever was like true or not, but I can so see it.
Oh, I've never heard anything about that. I don't know.
You know what I think of is like the little remember when you could do like the blooper surfing mini game?
Yeah,
That totes feels like something that could be a like one step over from like happening in Splatoon land.
maybe.
It's a good time.
Hmm.
I think we covered about everything from the presentation itself.
Yeah, I think so.
Like at least everything I wanted to personally talk about. Um, I think it looks really neat. I think some of those accessories are a little price wise. I think 300 for the console itself is honestly perfect. Um, I think the online thing could be. I can't see myself right now going for it, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's also didn't they say like the online paid service wouldn't even be a thing until later in the year?
Yeah, it's free until fall.
Hmm.
Like I think it's like an early adopter like type thank you program thing, or you know what, they probably are calling it that, but it's probably more like a trial run. So,
Okay.
but yeah, I'm like I just I can't justify myself. Like I already kind of like when I pay $60. I say this like I've done it more than once, but like earlier this month I had to renew my PlayStation Plus. And like that was $60 out of my wallet, and I'm like, man, I could have bought like a game with it. You know what I mean? Like I like the service and I've been very happy with it, honestly, but like
Mm-hmm.
still like I don't want to feel that twice in a year.
Nope.
If
No,
it
no, no.
if it's $30 a year or something ridiculously cheap, which it won't be, sure. But if it's anything more than like 30, fuck no, I'm fine.
Yeah, I could do 20, but no, no more.
Yeah. So yeah. I guess between that, you informed me of the GameStop uh thing of if you trade in a old 3DS, you get like what was it, like $90 if you have the charger, but it was more like 80 something because I didn't. And then like plus an additional $20 towards a Switch pre-order.
It's a limited offer. I don't know if it'll still be going when this goes up, but
Oh,
as of right now, for like not even that. Like, hey, if you didn't get it the day it was announced, good luck getting a Switch pre-order. But beyond that,
it.
yeah, there was a special like if you trade in certain systems, you get extra towards the Switch pre-order.
So I wanted to actually ask you about this because I don't know if actually you've talked with anyone, or even if you can talk about this, but so originally, a little while ago, they said 2 million worldwide. That's their number. Reggie came out today, and I want to say this was even just a few hours ago, and he went on record saying the NES Classic issue is not going to be repeated with the Switch. And he specifically referenced the supply issues of the NES Classic. And just from personally speaking, I got a Switch pre-order in at a GameStop, no problem. But do you think it's actually going to be a supply issue?
I What I can say is if you didn't get it and you want to try, keep calling, and if they say they have them, get it while it's there.
Okay, okay. Um, God, that sucks. Make more shit, Nintendo.
They might after the initial launch, they could give us more. We
Mm-hmm.
don't know
But for now,
that, but for now, it is very limited.
well, apparently what GameStops have been doing, and mine didn't do this, which I was surprised. Maybe they just dropped the ball, but apparently they're having like posters out in front. They're like, we have in Sharpie like 18 Switches available for pre-order, just so people know.
Mhm.
Mine didn't do that, but
I think my store had like 24.
yeah. But I went ahead and I was like, you know what? I'll wake up early. I'll trade in my old vanilla 3DS because what I was going to do. Actually, I was going to talk about this on this podcast, but I didn't. I homebrewed my Wii U, and I've turned it into an emulation box, which is fucking great because I can just emulate and play shit on the gamepad, and you can do that with like DS games and like a bunch of shit. It works wonderful. I love it. When I'm not emulating on my PC, I'm definitely going to be using it for that. Um, and I was gonna homebrew my 3DS, but it's like I don't know how much I want to even do that, just because like the Wii U covers most of what I want to do already. And what I was going to do is I have my new 3DS, and I was thinking I can just use my old 3DS for like dicking around and hacking. But then recently the latest like homebrew tools for 3DS came out, and it made it virtually impossible to fuck up hacking your system. So I was like, well, it's so safe now. I don't really need this old 3DS anymore. And even before I decided I wanted to hack it, I tried pawning it off to different, friends and family, and like either people already had one or they just weren't interested. So it's like, well, what the fuck am I gonna do with this thing other than it be a paperweight? So I was like, I'll trade it in and do the deal. Um, so I went to GameStop, listened to people behind me in line argue about the Zelda timeline, and kind of want to die on the inside. I had a line behind me, and the man talked me into upgrading my fucking membership to the Power Up Rewards Pro because he wouldn't like get off the subject, and I was like, I'll do it. Um, so now I have a fucking stupid ass silver Game Pride card in my wallet. Um, and yeah, so I got the Switch pre-order in. I have about like roughly like I think it's like $98 towards my pre-order. And that's actually kind of a big thing for me. Well, like in two ways. One, it's really weird because I've never ever really let go or traded in like a system like that. Well, I guess I sold my original Xbox 360 on Craigslist because I wanted a PS3 instead, and it's like I didn't like my 360, so I was personally fine with that. I kind of missed Halo, but that was it. Um, but like it's like man, I spent over 100 hours playing like SMT4 on this thing, or like I had a really fun Chrono Trigger DS playthrough on here, and like I mean all that system information is either on like the cart or it's like I just transferred it over to my new 3DS anyway, so who really gives a fuck? But like there's a weird sentimentality I had for it, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be lost forever, and oh well. But yeah, I mean, fuck it. I have my new 3DS, and it's better anyways, so I'll get over it. But yeah, I only need to pay like $200 for my Switch order. Um, and what I ended up actually doing between last night and tonight is I actually just canceled a bunch of Amazon orders I had for different games I was gonna get throughout the year. Like I can wait on Kingdom Hearts 1.5, 2.5 HD, whatever. That's always gonna be in stock. I'm not gonna realistically finish Mass Effect 2 and 3 by the time Andromeda comes out, so I canceled that. Debated canceling Dragon Quest 8, but that series needs all the fucking love it can get if we want to still get those in English, so I didn't cancel that actually, but just like random things here and there, it's like I'll just use the money I would have spent here towards the Switch. So I'm actually getting the Switch at launch, which is kind of a big thing for me because personally speaking, I really don't like getting new hardware at launch because you're paying the most for the least amount of like it's the worst game library size that it'll ever have. It's the most you'll ever pay for it. If there are any hardware issues, which to be fair, Nintendo's always been pretty good with from what I can tell. I think there was a run of Wii that had some weird issues I hear, but other than that, Nintendo's always been really good with their like hardware lifespan at least. Um but like just like in general, in my personal opinion, I've always found it just to be a smarter decision on my end to wait, but it's like, you know what? $200 for this thing is a really damn good deal, and I can't see myself like I can't see like a year from now it going down that much, you know. So I was like, I'll just go for it and trade in the 3DS. So I have a Switch pre-order in, and I also switched over my Amazon Breath of the Wild pre-order from the Wii U version to the Switch version, which I actually got really lucky with because that went out of stock really fucking fast. So
I also pre-ordered the Nintendo Switch. I canceled my Resident Evil 7 pre-order. Like with Rosin, that's a game that I want to play, but I can wait. And
yeah,
I put the money I had down on that towards the Switch. Um, I'm not saying I got any cryptic phone calls the night before asking if I was gonna pre-order it or not, but I got my Switch pre-ordered. Don't you worry.
Oh,
I
I see
still
that there's a breath of ethics in the.
I still have not decided if I'm actually going to pick it up at launch. I want to, but we'll see what my financial situation is like when the time comes, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Honestly, you know what? With that launch lineup, I think you can.
Here's the thing.
Wait.
I want it. I want it bad, and I'll talk about why soon. Um,
Okay.
if I decide that I can't afford it, I can just cancel the pre-order, and there's $50 towards Zelda on Wii U.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's me. We both got them pre-ordered. Switch boys right now.
Woo. Yeah, it's really weird because like even I tweeted out a big thing of like I don't think I'm gonna like I waited forever on the Wii U. I literally just got it kind of because I'm like, you know what, Bayonetta 2, Xenoblade, Mario 3D World, like Tokyo Mirage Sessions. Tokyo Mirage Sessions is the straw that breaks the camel's back. Went online, I got a refurbished Wii U from Nintendo. Really really good purchase. And I was happy I waited in that instance, but with the Switch, it's like, I mean, thank God for GameStop deals, but yeah, I mean, I might as well. Honestly, like this just goes for anyone. I talked about it earlier with like like cheap ass gamer and stuff like that, but just fucking if you have a Twitter, just are connected to social media, follow like different accounts or stuff that just like let you know about deals and shit like that. Like if you really want to take the time to invest on like saving the money and stuff, like I still remember I bought a 3DS the day before the price change happened, like that first price drop, because Walmart in the Midwest decided for some fucking reason that they were just going to lower the price one day early. And then you got it for the cheaper price, but you also got the ambassador games. Like just stuff like that. If you keep your eyes open, you can always see like really cool deals like that everywhere. So I urge everyone to look into stuff like that. It's always good to save cash, but yeah, I think the Switch is looking pretty cool, at least from that presentation alone. But I guess we can talk about your hands-on super duper big boy. I don't know why I just said big boy. We're getting a little spicy here.
I'm a super duper big boy.
Oh God. Anyways, yeah, please give us your big boy Switch impressions.
He's
Well,
my big
actually,
boy.
let's talk about your experience. What, like, not even just with the Switch, but like the event. Like,
Okay.
tell us about it.
So, about a month ago, I'm working the beginning of the holiday season at GameStop. Not a fun time. It's the roughest. And the mail comes in, and we open up the mail, and there's a letter from Nintendo saying, "Hey, in about a month, on the 13th of January, we're going to be holding a special hands-on preview event for the Switch in New York City. If you want to get in, your store has some people that can, because not every GameStop got this letter. Apparently, I'm not sure. Maybe all of them did, but as far as I know, it was a question of like, at that time, not everyone had gotten them yet. Maybe,
I was
but
gonna make a joke. It's whoever sold the most 3DSs and got them out. Oh, you know what? Actually, so Zach, I know you were saying Well, this has just been news that's kind of been going around. 3DS is out of stock like everywhere, and Nintendo's apparently been really shitty about restocking them.
yes, that's
Um,
why GameStop raised the prices that they'll take for them.
Not only that, but Zach, I think you'll get a kick out of this. When I was like, oh, I have just the old model 3DS to trade in, the dude like kind of mouthed like, oh, thank God. Like he was super excited someone was trading in a 3DS. I was like,
Yep.
oof, must have been a lot of questions about that.
It's rough. It's been rough. Um, but that aside, so yeah, we had to RSVP, send an email, do the thing. They're doing it in other locations throughout the month as well, I believe. But this is kind of like the first one, like the first day.
Yeah.
So I was pretty excited that the one I could go to was day one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so the day came. We hopped on the train because
You know what I just
I
fucking realized? Actually, hold on. I have a Circle Pad Pro that's just fucking lying on my desk now that I'm never gonna be able to use ever again. Anyways, carry on.
aw, um sell it on Amazon or eBay.
Fuck, you're right.
We we hopped on the train, and when we got to the place where it was, which was not like, it wasn't on any map because it wasn't like a secret that it was happening, but the location was a secret, so it wasn't like marked and
Random
advertised.
assholes were showing up.
Yeah. So you walk in the room, like you open the door and walk into the building, and it doesn't say what it is right away. There's just a big sign that says private event, and like four people ran up to us and was like, "You got your tickets? You got your tickets?" Like,
Nice.
And the funny thing was, my phone was not loading my ticket.
Oh,
So I got like moved to the side, and they were very serious about if you did not show them that ticket, you did not even get to see what this was about because it
nice.
say it in that room. If it did, I didn't see it or they moved it. All I saw was private event. Um, Eventually, I was able to use my boss's phone to get to my email and load up it on his phone, so I was able to get in.
That's good.
Um, as soon as you walk up the stairs and turn the corner, like, and you know you're in, there's this giant statue of like giant, like taller than you statue of Link with the bow from Breath of the Wild, and it's like, yeah, you in there now, son. It was just kind of cool how it was like private event, and then once you got in, it's like, here's Link. Um, so it was set up very similar. Like, if you've seen events like this before, you probably knew what it was like. They had different game, like there was like a little spot for each game, and there were like switches hooked up to TVs all over. Zelda had the biggest spot and everything. I have a list of things I want to go down to just talking about the Switch itself. Um, but first, I'll say that the atmosphere was very cool and laid back. There were a lot of people there, but it wasn't too overcrowded, so you can move around. The waits were not long at all. I didn't have to wait very long for anything except Zelda, which was only like 20 minutes to half an hour wait. Um, it just had a very cool, like laid back, here's the thing, vibe,
Yeah.
and that's something I appreciate. um, so first up, let's talk about the controllers.
Okay.
Okay. So when we were watching that stream, the one thing that we all commented on was, man, that controller looks small.
Mm-hmm.
It looks small and uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So you walk in there, and I see a lot of pro controllers. Almost every single game station setup had either the pro controller or just like the Joy Cons on their own, not in that base.
Ah, fuck. I'm gonna need to
So
spend $70 on a goddamn pro controller, aren't I?
so I'm walking around. I play some games. Eventually, I found two games that had the base set up, and the one that I got to sit down and play was Skylanders. So I obviously did not have much of an interest in Skylanders, but I was like, fuck, I need to try this controller. Let me play some Skylanders. Um, it felt fine.
Okay, good. Good.
I was getting worried when I couldn't find one, and like it got to the point where like
That
they
seems
had
like a
one
bad sign,
they had one in a glass case in front of Mario Kart, and I was like, "Can I play with that?" And he just went, "No." I was like, "Oh, okay." um, yeah, but it was fine. It is a little small, but the shape of the grips, it looks more uncomfortable than it is. You
Okay.
know,
Well,
because the
the Wii U
square shape.
gamepad did too, so
Yeah, it feels a lot better than that.
yeah.
The square shape of the controller is a little deceiving because what you're actually holding is shaped like a normal controller, and most of that is behind the square.
Do
You know?
you, if you had to see like size comparison compared to like a regular sized 3DS or even a 3DS XL, um, would you say like how would you say it is like compared to one of those two?
Maybe. It's hard to really say. It's definitely smaller than a DualShock 4,
Okay.
and it, not too much though. I would say maybe like I've never really played the original 3DS. I played the XL, and it's maybe a little smaller than the XL, but even then, maybe I could be wrong.
Yeah.
um, the main thing is that it was not uncomfortable. It did take a little. Your hands are closer together than I'm used to,
Mm-hmm.
but the controller was designed well, and it's not like your hands are gonna cramp up and feel awkward
Good.
once you get
Okay.
used to it. At least not mine.
Yeah.
Um, so that was a relief. Um, the Pro controller feels really nice though.
That's good.
Like I'm not gonna spend $70 on it, but it feels real nice.
Yeah, shame
um,
about that price.
yeah. And the other thing that it was actually kind of a surprise was the shitty mode where you just have one Joy-Con on its side.
Mm-hmm.
Not the worst thing.
Okay.
It's very basic, and your hand is really like wrapped around it there.
I heard those
But
things are
like
a lot fucking lighter than you would think, even.
they're very light, very very light. But like yeah, no, that felt fine. I played Mario Kart like that, and I played another game like that as well, and they both it's not my preferred method, but like yeah, I could do that. Like if I had just the one controller and I wanted to play some Mario Kart with a friend, I
Does
would.
it feel kind of like an SNES pad a little bit when you? Because, like, that's what it's emulating, obviously, but, like.
I could see that. It's smaller for sure. Um but it's not the worst thing in the world. It's a little awkward. The shape of it is a little awkward.
That's what kind of bothered me about it, just looking
Um
at it.
but like when I got it in my hands were just like, "Oh, I know what to do about this," you know?
And correct me if I'm wrong, the shoulder buttons are added on, like, by the clip part, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, did you. I don't know if you were, like, allowed or if, like, there are any games like that. It looks like there are shoulder buttons on it without the clip, but, like, the clip part, like, just, like, kind of covers over them and are also buttons or so. I don't quite know. Like, can you play it without the clip like that, or do you need the clip?
What do you mean by the
Like the
Oh
little
no.
safety.
Oh, no, no, no. You don't need that. There are buttons there as well.
Okay, yeah, cause I know, like, in all the videos, like, if you have that black, like, safety clip thing on,
Yeah.
it'll
The
the buttons
way
will be there too.
Yeah, Mario Kart even like they have like the little wheel you can put it in and stuff like that too.
Oh
There's a
yeah,
lot
that's
of
right.
accessories,
That's
but
right. Yeah.
yeah, no, I don't believe you need the clip. I think you could use it without the clip.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, overall, oh, sorry, I forgot.
Did you get to
Obviously,
try the fucking ice cube glass simulation?
I don't know what the fuck that's about.
Nowhere, nowhere in the little showing they didn't have. You couldn't shake any glasses.
Maybe in the weird little. Okay, so they had this one section that was like sectioned off through like this giant glass wall that you had to go through a glass door to get to, and this is the 1-2 switch section.
Okay.
I didn't enter that zone. Maybe it was in there. I
It's
didn't
a
really have
fucking
much
Sonic level
interest.
1-2 switch zone.
Yeah, I really didn't have much interest in that. Sonic levels, eh? Um, but no, I forgot about the obvious thing, which is the pad, like the gamepad.
Yeah.
So one thing, yes, taking apart that controller and then putting it in the pad and sliding out is exactly as satisfying as you think it is.
Okay. I
It is smooth and instant and fun.
okay. I heard a few first-hand impressions that were like it's a little bit awkward at first, but then as soon as you get used to it, it feels really good.
The only thing that was awkward for me is that everything was obviously like locked to a wire that was tied to the station,
Oh,
and maybe that's what people were running into, but I feel like once like you have to press obviously you don't just pull, you have to
yeah.
press a button and pull up.
Mm-hmm.
And once you get your hands in once you realize the position your hands need to be in, it literally you could do that in like 2 seconds. And
Okay. And
the
there's no
minute
risk of accidentally hitting that and sliding out.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
You have to put a little bit of force into it.
Okay. That's
Not
good.
a lot, but just a little.
Because that would be fucking annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's any risk of that. But like it really does, it's not an exaggeration what they've shown you when you put the Joy-Cons into the pad and lift up, it is a like 1 second like transition.
Nice, nice.
The game is immediately running on that gamepad. And as for the feel of the gamepad, this could have been like the weird lock and wire they had onto it, but it felt a little heavier than the Wii U gamepad.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I also feel like it felt better. Um, it I like the Joy Cons more than the setup they have on the gamepad, and the screen is obviously much nicer. It feels a little it feels a little less like sturdy in a way. Like it's very tablety in design, you know.
Yeah.
But no, that feels good. I feel like the gamepad is probably not gonna get much use out of me because I would just rather
That's
play in
not
a
a
TV.
touchscreen, is it?
It is.
It is? Okay. Do you know if there's internet browsing on that thing?
I do not.
Because I was like, hmm. I kind of hope there is because I could see me just like even like opening up YouTube or something stupid on that, you know? But
I would imagine there will be, you know.
yeah. But I mean, even like console internet browsers are usually pretty shit, so.
Yeah, but even like
You
they
know
always have
what,
like
though?
the YouTube app and
I
stuff.
I wouldn't be surprised if they actually didn't because the way the Wii U got hacked was through the internet browser, and it
Hmm.
sounds like they've had a not very good time patching out the exploits in the browser. Like,
I did not get to see anything that wasn't game, you know. So
yeah,
I didn't get to see any of that stuff. But
yeah.
um, no, yeah, honestly, uh, I'm not the biggest fan of the Wii U gamepad. I like it enough, but I feel like if you like the Wii U gamepad, sorry, if you like the Wii U gamepad, you know what you're getting into with this.
Yeah,
It's a slightly better version of that.
thank God, because like I've said before, I fucking love off TV play. Like, I'm probably gonna be like, unless I'm recording a thing or like it's like, oh, this is a really beautiful game and I want it to look as beautiful as possible. I'm probably gonna be mostly playing with it laying down in my bed, so I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, I guess I was gonna talk about this a bit later, but I'll throw this in here now because we're talking about the gamepad. Um, I played a couple of games on the gamepad. I'm sure everyone by now knows that the Switch is 1080p on your TV, and then it goes to 720 when you're on the gamepad. Um, that's fine in my opinion. The games I played were mostly fine. Like they looked fine
Mm-hmm.
on there, except for Zelda.
Ooh.
Zelda looked beautiful on that TV screen, and it looked like shit on the gamepad.
Oh God. Mm.
uh,
I did the math in my head, and I'm like, man, that Wii U gamepad. Think about what
um,
that's gonna look like, you know?
I don't, I can't really put a finger on it, you know. But
But
it's
wait,
just
hold on.
like
I now that I think about it, is the Wii U version of Breath of the Wild even gonna let you put the main game on the screen? I wonder.
I have no idea.
Maybe it might be better if they don't because if it looks like that, if it looks like shit on
Yeah,
the Switch, oh God, the Wii U version's gonna look awful. That screen is
like
terrible.
I've talked to a couple people about it. Like on the train ride home, we talked about it.
Hmm.
There were like two or three people in my group that were like, "Yeah, I mean, you noticed the quality go down, but I felt it looked fine."
Yeah.
And then like there were two or three people, of which I was included, that was like, "No, it looked bad. Like it looked real bad." Um, it just gets like kind of blurry and unfocused, and the graphics are clearly, it takes a bigger hit than all the other games I saw take.
I do think that I'm wondering if part of that is the graphical style too, because even there are a few Breath of the Wild like photos even that I've seen that sometimes I'm
Yeah,
like that looks just a little bit blurrier than I would like, you know. So I can see that being
yeah.
magnified with lower resolutions. Did you notice the frame rate difference? Because
The
I know you're not a big frame rate guy, but I'm just curious if
yeah.
that like the performance took a big
I
hit.
very quickly switched back to the TV.
Okay,
So,
okay, fair enough, fair enough. I know they
yeah,
said that the TV version is going to be shooting for 1080p 60 and like the handheld will be 720 30, but I know that there's even been talk about like the TV version might not even fully always hit 1080 and the handheld version might not fully always hit 720, so that'll be
I
interesting to see.
I'm not a very big like picky graphics person, and I'm not a picky frame rate person. I mentioned I was playing Dragon Guard 3 earlier,
Yeah.
but like so that is like when I notice it, you know,
But
it's kind of
yeah.
like
I
it looks
I was
beautiful
like
on
that
the
for a
TV.
while until I got more into video editing shit and like that became part of my job. But like I'm
Yeah.
pretty lenient when it comes to like frame rate and resolution shit.
Yeah, it really, like, the game did look beautiful on the TV. So I was gonna run through all the games I kind of wanted to talk about that I got hands on with.
Yeah.
I guess I'll talk about Zelda first. It wasn't the first one I played, but since we're already talking about it, um, I feel like it was the same demo everyone's had since E3. And if you've paid attention to the footage, then you know what I played, so there's not that much I could say about it. The game plays fine. Um, I am still a little so that story trailer they showed at the presentation, which we didn't really talk about.
Yeah.
Um, I was super excited for that. It is a I wanted to see what the story would be like and make sure that this is still a Zelda game.
Yo, it
It
looks
is way
anime as fuck.
it's so anime. I was talking with my
Zelda,
boss about
there's a Zelda bathing scene. God damn it. Anyways, carry on.
there is a scene of Zelda crying.
Oh yeah, there's that too. Yeah.
I'm super down. Like I was one of the people that was like, "Yo, Skyward Sword has its problems, but that story though."
Yeah.
Uh,
It's a good
and
story.
if this is more of that, like a more story focused, that's the thing too. It's not more story focused. It's an open world game.
Yeah.
So just the fact that the story that's there is gonna pack some punch,
Yeah.
maybe. I'm excited about that.
No, Zelda, like I was tweeting about this earlier, like I feel like Zelda was a thing I was super into as a kid that I ended up like as I grew older, I found things that this actually kind of goes back to that niche games email I got. Like I found different games that kind of fulfilled what I wanted from different Zelda games that did like specific little tiny elements like in ways I was kind of more drawn to. But like I always loved Zelda stories and like even when I was younger, I kind of wish that they went more in depth sometimes or at least had a little bit more of a focus on that. So I'm really excited though for them doing that push. I don't know how I feel about the voice acting honestly. There's part of me that still kind of likes when Zelda games don't have that, like
Yeah.
just the text because like it adds a weird sort of surreal quality to it that I just always really loved. Even in like Twilight Princess, I think that game added a lot to itself by not having proper voice acting. Um, but I mean, it's here probably to stay now, so might as well get used to it.
Yeah, well, we didn't get to hear too much of the English voices yet, so we still have to see about that.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for that. The thing is, though, maybe it's just because I've seen this demo before, but I got a little bored.
Oof.
Like I had 20 minutes with it, and it was a great 20 minutes. The game, and maybe that's the setting is wrong. When
Yeah.
my lights are off and I'm in front of my TV, and it's like, all right, I've got 5 hours tonight to just explore Hyrule. That'll be a childhood dream come true. But when
Yeah.
I've 20 minutes in a room, and it's like, oh man, the setup for the Zelda booth was so cool too. They had like the stones and like the TVs were in like these stone things. They,
Nice,
they put a
nice.
lot of effort
Was
into
the
it.
Sheikah symbol everywhere like it is in the fucking collector's
All
editions?
over the place.
God damn.
I think the Sheikah are going to be important or something.
Or something.
Um, but yeah, no, just like running around the little base area that I've seen before, I was kind of like, this would probably mean more to me if I didn't watch like 10 hours of this on E3.
Yeah.
But like, I'm still not sold on an open world Zelda. I
I'm
think
not
I'm going
either.
to like it, but I'm hesitant on that front. Um, I'm glad, like, if I hadn't have seen the story stuff the day before, I'd be a little more worried because I know you've said this before too, but like Zelda combat's not that deep, and I really don't
Nope.
care about hunting down moblin camps for that long.
Yeah, same. I think if you're gonna do an open world Nintendo franchise, it kind of has to be Zelda. I would kind like I because this is trying to be a Zelda 1 type thing, or at least a modernization of that pure idea, you know.
Yeah.
In terms of exploration above all, I I'm really afraid they're gonna be. I I feel like they're gonna lose that sense of adventure with a lot of the open world modernisms that a lot of different AAA games already fall into most of the time.
So
Um,
he. Oh, sorry.
I was about to say, but like even like I've made this comparison before. It's like Phantom Pain worked for me and its open world worked for me because I found intrinsic value in just like, hey, I found a new fucking town. Well, not even found a new town, but it's like, oh, I get to sneak through this little village and take out the guys. Zelda combat or Zelda gameplay just in general for me is not so like there's not so much like enjoyment just at a base level there for me compared to something like Phantom Pain or even like other systems even like Watch Dogs 2 does this really well it sounds like or even Mafia 3 where like the games are really good like weird Hollywood movie moment simulators where it's like, oh, a thing will blow up and all the different AI will react in different ways and like wacky situations will occur. You don't really get that with Zelda so much, and I know they've shown off a few things here and there, but it doesn't look all that deep compared to other
So
games.
here's the thing.
Yeah.
Zelda combat is like they added some cool stuff to the Zelda combat. It's got some new bells and whistles, but that's all it is.
Yeah.
To me, I love Zelda gameplay. And what I mean by that is I love pushing blocks onto switches.
Mm-hmm.
I love lighting torches with fire. I love figuring out what item I'm supposed to use in this room to move forward and then
Yeah.
getting the timing right on the jumps. That's what Zelda is to me in terms of gameplay.
Yeah.
And open world does not kind of have a lot of that, and that's okay as long as the dungeons do. You know, as long as I still get that Zelda experience in the dungeons and the challenge areas, I'll be okay with it being open world.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because I pretended for a moment that I didn't watch all those streams, and I feel like this game is going to hit it big with the big Zelda fanboys that get
Mm-hmm.
into it for the story and the lore. And there's like this feeling, like if you grew up with Zelda, like if someone says Temple of Time to you
Yeah.
and there's any emotion in you anywhere, give this a shot. Cause
Yeah.
like what what open world what I'm excited about for a Zelda open world is that bit where you're exploring fields and you find this ruins. You approach the ruins and it says Temple of Time. And you walk in and there's a statue of Hylia from Skyward Sword. And you kneel down to pray to it. And it says that she smiles upon you. That, like, for me, that's okay. I'm in. You know?
Yeah.
More of that, please.
Yeah, it's I'm really because we haven't really seen the dungeons, so I'm really
Oh,
interested because like honestly, Zelda like there are puzzles and enemy encounters in the overworld and in little hidden nooks and crannies here and there in Zelda games. Those always kind of felt like fluff to me a little bit.
yeah.
Um, even well, aside from Majora's Mask, but the best parts of that game are the side things. So
Yeah.
what will you do?
That's a game of really good fluff.
Yeah, it's really good fluff. Um, I'm curious to see the dungeons. I'm very hit or miss. I'm not much of a puzzle person. Zelda puzzles are fine for me because like I don't often really get even as a kid like I never really got stuck all that much on Zelda puzzles, like
Yeah. It's just like scratching an itch, kind
yeah.
of.
So
It feels
it's
real good,
basically
but it
like
wasn't hard to scratch
it's
it.
basically like if you get lost in like the mental process, you kind of just go from room to room and figure out what you missed and then keep
Yeah.
going. So yeah, I'm excited to see. I hope the dungeons are really really good. So I mean,
I hope.
I hope
Yeah.
they're better than Skyward Swords, which they weren't the worst, but they could have been better in my opinion.
I hope that the dungeons are good. I hope the story is good. I hope there's a lot more moments in exploring the open world like that Temple of Time bit.
Yeah.
These are all hesitations for me. I have one actual complaint:
What was the complaint?
the stamina bar.
Oh, I forgot that even existed.
I am okay with the concept of a stamina bar. I fucking hate it in this game. I'm sure you can upgrade it and it'll be a little bit better once you upgrade it, you know? But it does the thing where if you run out of stamina, he does not go back to his normal speed. He starts going slow,
Ugh.
you know? He starts going real slow and you can't jump or run and you have to wait for the stamina bar to fully fill up again before you can move normally again.
And that's so stamina is used up by running and climbing, right?
And swimming.
And oh fuck that.
And that was part 2 of the complaint, which is if you see a big body of water and start swimming across it, better have the stamina for it, fucker. Because if you don't,
You
then you're
drown.
going back to where you were. Yeah, you drown.
Oh fuck
Lose a
that.
heart.
Don't have too much fun, kids.
Yeah, it's annoying and like
I hate to be that guy. It kind of feels like Zelda. This one in particular is taking a lot from Dark Souls. You have the
the thing
stamina
is
bar, you
though,
have the lore notes and the items.
when you yeah, and honestly though, like the lore notes, I'm totally excited for, but the
Same.
stamina. Well, here's the thing though, the stamina bar was also in Skyward Sword,
Fuck, you're right.
but I don't when you ran out of stamina in Skyward Sword, did you become slowed or did you just go back to default?
I think you just couldn't do the thing until it refilled.
Yeah. In this
I
one,
could
you
be. I don't
absolutely, like,
remember
slow
much of.
down.
I haven't played Skyward Sword since like the year after it came
Yeah,
out, so it's been a
true.
good number of years now. But I want to
I
replay
just
that game. Actually, I'll get it on Wii U Virtual Console.
like I said, I'm sure that by the end of the game you'll have a stamina bar so big it's fine. But in the early game, when you have this huge field to travel across and you don't have a horse yet or anything, it's gonna be annoying.
Yeah. Oh fuck yeah! I didn't even. Oh yeah, we have seen the horse. Never mind. What am I? The first
Yeah.
thing we fucking saw was Link doing the fucking backflip into the arrow shot. So
So that's that. I mean, like the game looks fun. I have some hesitations and one complaint, but I'm ready to love it. We'll
yeah,
we'll see, but I'm ready to love it.
I'm looking
Um,
forward to it. I hope they can nail the open world thing and it doesn't just become more of a hassle than it's worth.
I'm hoping the reason they focus so much on like the combat stuff is because they didn't want to spoil other things.
Yeah.
Because removing myself from the concept of like the streams and everything, concept was not the word I wanted there, but whatever. Um, like the Temple of Time bit, it has me excited because I want that moment of like, oh yeah, this means something to me as a Zelda fan, and I found it and it's ruined, and what does this mean?
Mm-hmm.
That'll be fun. But if you're not a Zelda fan and the things I'm saying mean nothing to you, maybe wait a moment. Maybe read some reviews.
This is gonna be the first Zelda since I think Spirit Tracks. So I mean that's only like 2 ago that I've gotten at launch. Um, I I bought Spirit Tracks like when it came out, and I didn't touch it for like 2 years, and then I finally did, and I was like, "Oh, this is shit," and I stopped playing. Um, and I got Skyward Sword a year after it came out, and I got A Link Between Worlds a good 8 months after it came out digitally because it was on like an eShop sale or something. So this is gonna be the first time I'm like on the Zelda train since I was pretty young actually. I guess like when did Spirit Tracks come out? Like 2008, 2009.
I don't remember.
I don't know. I was in out like early high school for me, um, so like yeah, it's gonna be a while since or it's gonna be the first time in a while that like I'm on the Zelda train day one. So that'll be exciting if anything, because it'll remind me of the times when I actually liked things, Zach.
Okay. I'm always on Zelda Day One. That's a series that meant too much for me as a kid not to.
All right. What else? What
So,
else happened at Switch Miss, as it's been dubbed?
yes. Well, like
Well,
I
Switch
said,
Miss was the presentation. Switch Miss day after.
I skipped ahead to go to the Zelda bit.
Okay.
The first game I actually played was Sonic Mania.
Okay.
I walked in and the first booth I saw was Sonic Mania, and I went to my group, I'll catch up.
Okay. How was Sonic Underground?
I'm a big Sonic fan, and I know, but I also grew up playing those old 2D Sonic games, and I like it. I like the Sonic gameplay a lot. If you looked at Sonic Mania and went, "Hey, that looks exactly like the Genesis ones." Hey, it is. It really, really does feel like they just made Sonic the Hedgehog 4 on Sega Genesis.
That's good. It's really a shame that name was taken. Like really a shame.
It is a shame. But so I sat down and there was this kind of awkward moment where like the woman, like they always have someone next to you while you're playing to see
You
if you
can't
need help,
fucking play this, she says.
and she was like clearly kind of gonna like walk me through the thing like I was the dumb idiot that doesn't play the Sonic games,
Yeah.
and I just instantly went like, can I just go to Studiopolis instead of Green Hill? And she went, yeah, sure. And then she like saw me do like the spin dash out, and she was like, okay, you know what you're doing. I was like, yeah. Um, the game's a lot of fun. That level design is really good if you like Sonic level design, and it's if you enjoyed this Genesis games as a kid, then you will like this. It seems like it's doing the thing good.
I want to
So
pick it up. I'll pick it up for Switch actually, because I can.
yeah. This was the other game that I played with the shitty version of the controller, and it was like, yeah, it felt okay. Um, after
By
Sonic
shitty version of
Mania.
the controller, do you mean the tiny together one that's the default, or do you mean like the Joy-Con single?
No, just the half of the one half of Joy-Con on its side.
The one half of Joy-Con.
Yeah. The
Fuck
one
this name.
Joy-Con. There was a
Okay.
moment where one person was explaining to me, like, okay, so they're both Joy-Cons, but the plural is still just Joy-Con. So you've got the Joy-Con, and together they're the Joy-Con. And I'm like, okay,
Oh, that's
okay.
awful. So what I've been seeing Nintendo do is they call the one half Joy-Con and then in parentheses L for left and Joy-Con parentheses R for right.
And together they're Joy-Con.
God, that's the worst.
Um, so after Sonic Mania, which I mean everyone's seen Sonic Mania by now. There's nothing exciting that you don't already know about that.
Yeah.
I played Arms.
Okay, tell me about Arms. Was it fun? Did you have fun? Did you have fun with
Okay.
Arms?
I had fun with Arms.
Okay.
That game is not for me.
Okay.
I suck.
Oh.
So they did a thing where like two people would go and verse each other, and you go through the tutorial to learn the moves, and then you have a practice round and a real round. I lost all of them.
Who did you play against? Anyone you knew? Or?
No, some random guy.
Okay.
I was still split up because of the Sonic Mania thing.
Oh, okay.
So
the Sonic Mania incident of January 13th.
it feels a little awkward at first. It definitely takes some getting used to.
So like you actually like punch forward with the Joy-Con, right?
You
use both, right? One for each
yes.
hand? Okay.
So you have one in your right hand, one in your left hand, and it is very much like, I never played Wii Boxing, so I don't know if it's similar, but you don't do a lot with the buttons. Like you don't even touch the analog stick.
Yeah.
You move by leaning like left, right, back, forward.
Okay.
You punch by doing a punching motion, and you always want to punch forward and then like move your hand in the direction you want the punch to go in because of that weird spring thing.
Oh, you want to aura this shit? Okay.
Yeah, well, like you wanna like correct your punch mid punch so that you're not punching off to the sides, you know? And that takes a little getting used to. You have a jump and a dash, and those are like on the L and R, and then you have the super move, which is literally aura. And that's it. Very basic, but like a little extra depth in there in which each character has their own gimmick, like Ribbon Girl, I think her name is Ribbon Girl or something. Yeah. She can do a double jump, you know, and then she can the ninja guy can do a jump and a dash, and he'll go invisible for a split second, you know, and stuff like that. And then there's like different weapons you can put in your hands to do, like your right hand does one thing and your left hand does a different thing, you know. It seems fun if you're into that sort of thing. Is
it wacky?
It's wacky.
That seems to be
like
the selling point.
Fast.
Yeah.
It's like.
Is that another full-priced $60 thing?
Full price $60.
Yeah, no thanks.
It should be. This should have been part of 1-2 Switch. And you know.
Yeah, and that should be. Like, even I think when we were in that call, someone pointed out, like, man, that fucking thing looks like another, like, blast ball situation or whatever the fuck that, like, turned out to be part of that Federation Force Metroid game that sold like shit because no one wanted it.
Yeah. Honestly, the main fun is hitting that super and doing the aura. And, like, if you've got a friend that's into JoJo and one of you does aura and the other does a super at the same time and tries to do muda, you could probably have like a really dumb fun moment. Other than that, also I forgot, if you punch with both arms at the same time, you can do a grab.
Oh, that's interesting actually.
Yeah. So it's fun, honestly. It's not worth $60.
Okay.
If you've got a couple of friends that are into it, maybe pull your money together. Every person pays like $20 and you'll feel a little bit better about it. But like, that game is, unless they show us more later, I'm not.
Oh, you're gonna need 4 Joy-Cons for that fucker too.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's more than $60 if you're just buying the base console.
You are right.
So actually, fuck off. No, thanks. Unless your friend also has a Switch, in which case it's like, hey, bring over your Switch Joy-Con. Hey, I did the branding right.
Yeah, you did. But yeah, that was it for ARMS. Honestly, it was fine. Um,
What happened next?
I did a lot of walking around. I did play Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Okay,
I
good
was
port.
initially, huh?
Good port or
Good port. Good, more than a port.
okay.
I was initially like, do I need this? Even if I do get the Switch, do I need this?
Yeah,
I have Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U, you know,
yeah.
and I paid 60 for Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U,
Hmm.
and I also have Mario Kart 7 on the 3DS. I like my Mario Kart. I'm not the biggest Mario Kart fan in the world. So I went into this one kind of like I probably don't need this game, you know.
Yeah.
I walked away from it like, yeah, I'm gonna get this game.
I
There,
haven't played any since Wii to be well. I played a little bit of Mario Kart 8 at a friend's, and I think I played Mario Kart 7 download play. I don't remember if that was the thing you could do with that one, but I vaguely remember playing a Kart game on my friend's 3DS or with my friend or
yeah.
something. But like I don't know, like I like 64 a lot. I like Double Dash a
Okay.
little bit. I like Wii.
Okay. So here's the thing.
Yeah.
Uh, this so Mario Kart 8 was a really good Mario Kart game. It had a lot of fun stages. The DLC added even more. The character selection was really good.
Hmm.
The customizing your cart from 7 is cool and still around. This has all of that. It's got all the stuff from 8. I'm sure, like, I know there's at least like they put the Inkling as a new character in King Boo. There
Yeah.
might be some new stages. I don't know.
Do they have 64 and Double Dash stages in there still? Because
Oh yeah. Oh
I know
yeah.
we did.
Oh yeah.
That's cool. Good.
They do the thing where like half the stages are brand new and half of them are remakes.
Oh, fucking cool. Okay.
And there's a lot of stages.
Nice, nice,
especially
nice.
especially after the DLC, which is all included in this version.
Good shit.
They also added a proper battle mode, like the battle mode that you remember from 64 redone, you
Oh,
know?
fuck yes. Okay. Because when I was a kid, man, I had a
Yeah.
fucking night. This is the same friend I've told the story before. Me and him played Final Fantasy X, like fucking, like that was my introduction to JRPG. Yada yada. I've done that
Yeah.
before. Um, he and I had a fucking I can't we had a feud, and we're like, we're gonna settle this with whoever gets the first to 100 victories in Mario Kart 64 battle mode. And
Nice.
that was a night. But
With
ever since,
with the balloons and everything?
yeah, man, we fucking went and went the
Yeah.
lava donut stage. We fucking went to
Oh yeah.
gladiatorial combat. And like we spent the whole night doing that, and like ever since, and every time we like hang out, it's like, man, you want to fucking load up virtual console and play some 64 battle mode, and it's like, fuck yeah, and we fucking know the meta. So yeah,
All right. Yeah, it's back. Battle mode is in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
thank god.
Um
It
I'm
was
sure there'll
okay
be.
in Double Dash too. It wasn't as good, but
Yeah. I think there was some version of battle mode in either 7 or 8, but it wasn't like the full thing or something. I
to
don't
be
know.
honest, I kind of forgot that. Did we just take it out completely?
I know they made a big deal about it being back here, you know. So
Okay.
I'm sure it was gone somewhere along the
Or
line.
it, if not gone, maybe just very minimalist.
Yeah, dumb, like not the same thing.
Yeah.
The other thing is that Deluxe also adds you could have you could store 2 items.
Hmm.
So in Mario Kart 8 originally you only had the one item like the old
Like
days.
every game, yeah.
Yeah, and I think you could have 2 in Double Dash, but you could switch them around.
Yeah, because you had the two
This one,
characters.
this one is literally like, no, you're the one character and you've got 2 item slots. You've got one in backup. You can have one on you.
Okay.
And you don't think that adds a lot, but it does.
That's
You know,
cool. Yeah.
it's not a major change, but it is enough of a change.
Hmm.
So the battle mode plus the 2 items thing, it felt fresh enough. That's like, you know what? I could still get like $27 for Mario Kart 8
Hmm.
trade in, and I could get $27 for Mario Kart 7 trade in. I'm probably gonna trade those 2 Mario Karts in and just get Mario Kart 8 Deluxe because I could take it on the go. So why do I need 7?
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm gonna get Mario Kart 8 Deluxe because that sold me on it.
Did you try that on the handheld mode at all, or just the TV?
Oh, I tried it on the TV,
Okay.
but I had the I used the one half of the Joy-Con plugged into the wheel.
Huh. How did that
I
work?
I
Actually, was that
I didn't
good?
I didn't use the wheel.
Okay.
I just used the analog stick.
Okay.
I came in first place, so
Oh, nice.
I lost the battle mode though.
Oh,
Yeah, well,
well,
you win some, lose some.
yeah, you'll bring glory to this podcast one day.
One day.
One day.
So after hitting all the big ones, I kind of walked around and tried some shit. Played a round of Street Fighter 2,
Who
lost
did you pick?
obviously. um, uh, what's Violent? What's his name?
Violent Ken?
Yeah, not Ryu.
Okay.
um,
So
I
after
sat.
all of that Guilty Gear practice, you lost in Street Fighter. No, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
We started playing Guilty Gear Xrd Revelator, by the way.
It's fun.
Yeah.
I like Sin. Ooh, that's a sentence. I like Sin.
Ooh, don't cut yourself on that edge, Zephyr Wolf 18.
No problem. I tried out Disgaea just because I was looking for things to try out. Eventually, I decided to try out Puyo Puyo Tetris. Getting a lot of buzz for some reason. I see a lot of people talking about Puyo Puyo Tetris all of a sudden.
I got really worried because I was like, oh god, where's the background noise coming from? I need to stop editing videos so much.
What?
Because you said buzz, and I was like, oh no. There's an audio problem, but there's not.
No. Just buzz for Puyo Puyo Tetris.
You just meant journalistic buzz.
Yeah, attention, you know?
Yeah.
Have you heard anything about Puyo Puyo Tetris?
No, but it sounds I like me some Tetris, so
Do you like you some Puyo Puyo?
I will occasionally like Puyo Puyo. It's one of those things where maybe once every 2 years I'll be like, I'll play a little bit of Puyo Puyo and then I'll stop.
Okay.
But I enjoy both.
When I was a kid, I played Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, which is Puyo Puyo for dumb American kids that can't handle anime.
Yes, it is.
So once I realized what Puyo Puyo was, that it was just that game, I'm not very good at it, but I know how to play it, you know?
Yeah.
I can set up 1 or 2 combos, you know? So I enjoy that. Puyo Puyo Tetris has a couple of different modes. I think you can just play Tetris and Puyo Puyo, but the main thing is the Switch mode, which
Is it literally just called Switch mode?
yeah. So I don't know
Nice.
if it's intentional or not, because I think this game might be on other systems
Yeah,
too.
because it's on the PS4 too, I thought, so that's fucking weird.
Yeah. So the reason why it's called that, by the way, this is like a versus thing as well, so you're versing another person.
Okay.
I'm sure there's 1-player modes as well, but
Yeah.
I was playing with a coworker of mine, and so you start out playing either Puyo Puyo and Tetris, and halfway through it just switches to the other one.
Okay.
And like the scores stay, but it is a new blank map of Tetris. You play Tetris for a little bit, and it's got like, I don't know if I've never played a versus Tetris, but it does the Puyo Puyo thing of where once you break a line, it sends shit over to the other enemy.
A lot
of
Tetris games do that, yeah.
Okay. So you play Tetris for a little bit, and then it switches back to your Puyo Puyo map.
God. I don't even, like, I like both of those, but it's not like I'm super into those, but, like, when you just say that, like, fuck, that sounds really cool.
It's weird. It's really weird, because you're basically playing 2 games at once.
But that sounds really hectic and fun, though.
It is really hectic, because the thing is, the Puyo Puyo and Tetris maps are not the same, you know?
Yeah.
But they carry over. So you'll be building up like Puyo Puyo combos and shit, and then all of a sudden you're playing Tetris, and you're like, oh shit, okay. And then when you switch back to Puyo Puyo, you have a moment of, oh fuck, what was I doing, you know?
Oh, that's rad as hell.
It's really hectic. It's pretty fun. A little weird though. Like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's a novelty gimmick, but it's a novelty gimmick worth trying out if you're a fan of that kind of game. I don't know.
I hope
did
it's
not check.
that has to be a downloadable thing.
Yeah, but I
most puzzle games like that are at this point, so
I got a kick out of it. I also met the Sonic meme Twitter guy, but I didn't really get to say much to him.
You should have been like, I got personal connections to Reaper names, and we can get a social. Oh, me and him could do some damage.
Yeah.
If we got together, Reaper names and Sonic.
That's a nightmare. That's a nightmare that I never want to experience.
There's a legion of Shadow the Hedgehog jokes.
Oh no.
I should tweet at Sonic the Hedgehog one of these days on Reaper names, see what happens.
Mm. Yeah, that's kind of it. Walked around, played a few. There was like a racing game that was cool, but that's mostly it. I got the hands on with the controllers, and that kind of eased the worries I had about the system itself. I'm still a little hesitant about its year one lineup, but
Yeah.
at the very least, I feel confident in the system, and that's kind of what matters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. But that's my story.
So there's that. Yeah, so we both got it pre-ordered, which, like I said, that's kind of weird for me, but Zach, you'll see if you'll get it depending on the time. Man, the first half of this year is fucking packed with games, man.
I really, I'm sad I had to cancel Resident Evil 7, but even if I don't get the Switch, it's not reasonable for me to get that.
It still feels weird to me that that game is that close, you know? Like, I don't
It's
know, it's
eight
something
weeks
about
away.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll still be playing other stuff. I got Fate Extella paid off. That's coming soon, and then even if I do get the Switch, or if I don't get the Switch, I've got a month to play Zelda before Mass Effect, and then like a couple of weeks to play Mass Effect before Persona 5, and then
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, where I'm like, I have a few weeks to finish up Zelda, which I think I can do. Before Nier Automata comes out. Nier Automata, I'm not sure if I'm gonna have that finished by the time P5 comes out.
Isn't Nier Automata early March?
Nier Automata is March 17th. Breath of the Wild is like the 3rd.
Okay.
So that's 14. That's 2 weeks exactly.
Okay.
Actually, no. Now that I just said that, yeah, I don't think I'll have Breath of the Wild done in time.
No.
But
That's another like Nier Automata. I was gonna get it launched, but I'm gonna wait on that. I'm okay with that because I still got Drakengard in here to play through. So
yeah,
and we got that LP of Drakengard 1 to do eventually.
yeah. Yeah. So the Switch looks cool. How do you think it's gonna do for the masses? I don't think it's I think it's safe to say it's not gonna be as bad as the Wii U. I think it's safe to say it's not gonna be as good as the Wii. Um,
That's a safe bet.
that's a safe bet because it's the widest fucking possible range of possibility that could ever exist. Um, but
I think they marketed it this well.
I think they did too. I can't. I'm. Their lineup is admittedly, I think, kind of weak.
It's a bit weak.
It's
Yeah.
a bit weak.
Let's be real. They could have waited for the holiday season.
I think they could. I guess I really, other than just because, like, I guess they want. Well, actually, no, fuck it. They could have just released Breath of the Wild as the Wii U's last big bang in March, and then just waited until the holidays for this. Like, I totally don't understand why this couldn't have been a November launch. Didn't the
Yeah,
Wii
and then
come out
you would
December, and that worked out fucking great? So
and then you'd have like Mario for launch instead of Zelda, but it's fine.
oh, heaven forbid we have the next new 3D Mario game as the launch title. Yeah,
Yeah, no, I'm saying like yeah,
yeah,
that's great. You'd
yeah,
have Mario Kart done, you'd have all these other stuff done, but
yeah.
it's fine. We'll see.
Are you gonna buy Skyrim again?
No,
Neither am I.
if I buy Skyrim again, it's gonna be on PC.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Oh yeah. You know what? The fucking Switch version of Skyrim probably ain't gonna have mods. So
Hmm.
didn't think about that till now.
Oh, I can't believe there's a share button on that fucker.
Yeah, but I also think it's very intriguing how they're like, there's a share button, but it's not gonna work for a while.
True.
Like, oh, thanks, I guess.
Yeah, maybe let's not get our hopes up on that one.
I can't see it being as robust as well, okay, I'm gonna say I like the share button is really cool for sharing shit to Twitter on like PS4. I find the live stream capability and the actual long-term recording capability of the PS4 share button pretty lacking. I heard the Xbox One is pretty similar. I'm curious to see if Nintendo can match it or maybe even do it better. Heaven forbid they make Let's Players and reviewers and people who otherwise want to make video content's lives easier. But fuck it, it's HDMI, so I can just capture it with a capture card anyways. But yeah, I hope next gen the share button stuff gets a little more like robust, just because I kind of don't want to keep spending like hundreds upon hundreds of dollars for recording equipment. But
Yeah.
that's like a weird YouTuber problem that real people don't have. So I'm not a real person. That's the
It's good.
joke.
It's a good joke.
It's a good one.
What was your fucking name at the beginning of this?
Son of Sparta 666.
Yeah, there you go. That's you.
Yep, every day. Devil May Cry 5 might be happening. That's pretty fucked up.
Really?
Yeah. Itsuno, who is like the main director guy behind 3 and 4, recently was like, hey, I'm doing a new project. And like, there's been some other Devil May Cry-esque teasing stuff for the past couple years on and off. And like some talk, so people think it might be that, but also could be a bunch of other things. But I really fucking hope
Yeah.
it's Devil May Cry 5. I could go for another one of those.
Yeah, for real.
So we'll see. We do have some emails. I did reference in on Twitter that you did play the Switch, but we do have some like today emails too.
Okay.
Bumpadump asks, where do you all stand on the story versus gameplay debate? I don't know, it kind of depends on the game. I feel like we say this a lot with email answers, but like,
Yeah.
what does the game want to emphasize? Like, Metal Gear Rising totally shits all over its own story and the Metal Gear canon itself in some ways, so that it can tell an awesome, or like, so it can be an awesome hack and slash character action ninja cyborg robot thing. And like,
Yeah.
I think it was totally worth it. Doom has a really dumb and goofy story that doesn't take itself seriously and is honestly kind of bad, but good in a cheesy way. So it can be a big dumb game about fighting weird alien demonic things in hell, and I think that's great. But then also too, it's like, hey, Drakengard's gameplay sucks, but I really fucking love that story. So like, it depends. What is the game going for, and it's a matter of how bad the other part of it is. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say for you, like, you wouldn't have cared enough about Drakengard's story to continue on playing it, right?
Drakengard 1, the gameplay was too bad for
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
Drakengard 3, it's not great gameplay, but it's better enough that I can get through it, you know?
yeah,
So it's definitely like depends on the game. But neither can be so bad that I hate it,
yeah.
you know?
I uh, I think there's something to be said about like I think a lot of times as like an internet community, we've kind of made that gameplay versus story into a weird spectrum thing when in reality it totally isn't. But it just feels like that's the case so many times where one has to be sacrificed for the other. And I just hope as this thing goes on that that starts to happen less and less, but
Yeah.
you never
I
know.
feel like honestly, it normally boils down to like what does your game want to do, then you better do that good, you know?
Yeah,
If your game wants to be all about the gameplay, then do that gameplay good. If it wants to be about story, then have a good story.
yeah,
I can excuse a lot of shit if I like something about your game, but you know.
yeah, same. I have to say if I had to
When it
choose
comes
one,
to
I was gonna say if I have to choose one, I'm a very story oriented person. I'm very curious. Like a lot of my interest in games is the story experience, and like I guess in general, like storytelling as a whole is just something I'm very fascinated by, and I think is more important to humanity as a species than we often give it credit for. Aside from, well, I guess like there's like whole like schools of academia associated with like filmmaking and literature and shit, but like I don't know, I'm curious to see where like game stories and how they impact and affect people and society and culture and stuff like that's like as who I am, that's a lot of the shit I'm really interested in with games. And gameplay's cool and fucking great, but like if I had to choose one, I really like a good story. So
I was pretty much gonna say the same thing. Like personally, my preference is always like, I I'll take a good story. I like getting involved in stories. I like analyzing stories. So I value the story. I like good gameplay, but I will value a good story more than good gameplay. You know.
same. I This is kind of shitty, but a lot of times I feel like games with good gameplay can often more so be compared to like a toy than like an experience, you know? Like
Yeah.
I feel like with stories, I feel like there's more of like it's more of like a mental thing for me than like even with stuff like competitive multiplayer or like something more gameplay oriented, or like even um like just really great action games and all that, like I often don't feel like I'm hitting the same like sense of satisfaction. Like those are more of like a service, or like uh I guess like I feel like the experience there is more with the other people I'm enjoying it with in terms of multiplayer, or just like the base like visual like stimuli of it. Whereas like with story stuff, it's like, man, there are still some fucking days where I just look back and think about the story of Persona 3 and how that like changes my view of mortality. Like, like you don't get that with something like Contra, really,
Yeah.
like like I still think about Earthbound and Mother 3 and how those two games stories and their presentations for tragedy and like humor have impacted like my growth as a person, and like how that like led partially to like my sense of humor now and stuff. Um like I just feel like I have a lot more to think about and like take with me as a human being with story-based stuff than I don't want to say like gameplay focused stuff is more surface level, because that sounds really demeaning, but I don't mean it to be. It's like I just feel like story stuff lasts with me longer personally. So yeah, that's that. Um, thanks Bump a Dump for the email. This next one is from Jim, and he said this one's kind of more of a response to the last episode. He says, "Hey Rosin and gang, I've been listening to your podcast for a while, all the way back to Cathedral of Shadows. Love the show. It's great to have a show with such a passion for more obscure video games. Especially SMT, which I personally only got into with Soul Hackers 3DS and SMT4, but quickly fell in love with. I have two questions for you guys. What's your opinion on Dragon Quest? I've been playing Dragon Quest 7 on 3DS as my first Dragon Quest game, and I've really been liking it. Its combat is definitely more simplistic than SMT, but there's something quite charming about it. I'm looking forward to the 3DS port of 8 in 2017 and 11 in the future." Um, I really like Dragon Quest. It's a little bit more grindy than I'd like it to be, and like it definitely doesn't have the same type of appeal to me that Final Fantasy does. But Dragon Quest V is one of the best Japanese role-playing games I've ever played in my life, and like I will show that game forever. 8 is also really good. I also really like I like 7 because that was a PS1 era game that's like, hey, let's make a game that's over 100 hours long. Like they wanted to go for more of like a Greek like Odyssey style like fantasy epic, and they did it. And like they're like, if we need to make our game like still have like 2D SNES style sprites, then that's what we're gonna do. And they did it, and it totally worked for them. So that's neat. No, I like Dragon Quest a lot. They're really fun and charming, and I wish the West appreciated them more, I guess, but they're not for everyone. So
I haven't played them.
you should try them out one day.
I bought copies of 4 and 5 on the DS, and they are sitting there. I will get to them one day.
They're fun.
I know I'll like them in terms of like that old school JRPG thing, but I feel like they're just like basic fantasy enough to where I know I'll like them, but I've got to be really in the mood for that particular
Yeah.
thing.
And what sucks about Dragon Quest is I feel like they always go for that style. Compared to Final Fantasy, which is always fucking around with its style and like levels of technology and how involved magic is in their game. Like the settings are always changed up. The thing with Dragon Quest that like I have to concede is that like 4 does a thing where like you have different chapters where you play through different viewpoints, but it's still just a basic fantasy thing. Then 5 does a really cool thing where it's a generational story, but it's still just a fantasy thing. But then you go back to 6, and honestly, 6 has like kind of like a weird like, I don't know, like 6 just kind of feels like a generic fantasy thing again, and I like that game a lot, but it's like, hey, we're back to just kind of more of a traditional thing. And then 7 does some really cool stuff, but also like I feel like that there's always the really cool thing that the ones I really like do, but then it's still hard to say that it's not just another generic JRPG, Like
I'm
it
gonna correct myself.
yeah.
I played the fuck out of Dragon Warriors Monsters on the Game Boy.
Yeah.
The dumb like Pokemon ripoff one, I guess.
Yo, so here's the thing actually. Dragon
Okay.
Quest V was where that all started because Dragon Quest V has a thing where your family, like you have like your family is kind of your core party members, and like as you get older and like you have kids and stuff, like they become your party
Yeah.
members too. But also part of it, and like your girlfriend and wife and stuff are around too. But the rest of your party are filled up by monsters that you'll just win a random encounter, and then you have a random chance of an enemy being like, "Hey, will you spare my life if I join you?" And it's like, "Sure, get in." um,
Okay.
and that actually preceded Pokemon.
Nice.
So Dragon Quest Monsters is kind of like that halfway point between like SMT and also Pokemon. So
I I was a real young kid, so I don't remember much. I remember spending way too long playing rock paper scissors. I remember a lot of rock paper scissors in that game. I don't know if that means anything to anyone, but yeah, that was mine. I played Dragon Warriors Monsters as a kid and really liked it.
but yeah, if anyone's wondering like what games are really good, I'd say 5 and 8 are like the two standout ones that people generally agree are the best for different reasons, and I you can't go wrong with either of those. So um anyways, next question. He says, also in the latest episode, you guys got talking about your Dungeons and Dragons game. Personally, I kind of hate D&D, but I do like other pen and paper role-playing games. Have you ever tried running an SMT-inspired pen and paper role-playing game? If not, how would you guys handle such a thing? To me, you couldn't have every PC summoning 3 more demons at a time. That would just be a little crazy. Um, honestly, yeah, that's kind of my thing, as I wouldn't really try. Like, there's probably systems for weird summoning type stuff like that,
Yeah.
but like I feel like mainline SMT does not translate well to.
You could do one thing where like everyone gets one demon, and it's like
But at that
everyone's
point,
basically a beastmaster.
I feel like at that point have a you would have a better time either running a DDS style thing or a Persona style thing. Like
Yeah,
mainline,
that comes down to like the setting, I guess.
actually, you know what? I'm gonna bite Crow on that a little bit. I don't think you could do mainline SMT, but I think the Devil Survivor, everyone has 2 demons, could work.
Yeah, I could see that working pretty well.
And because then literally, but I mean, even if you want to go further than that, like you all move together the same, but then you have like you just have 3 actions per turn
I would
and three
say the
different
most
health
important
bars.
I would say the most important thing with that system is if you ever try something like that, keep your like player base low. Don't go above like 3 people
I
playing the
wouldn't go
game.
above 3 or 4. That would be
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because like you're literally just multiplying the amount of characters to keep track of, and that the number crunching is, I think, the worst part of tabletop games. To be honest, like I know some people love that shit, but it's like, man, I want enough crunch so that like the gameplay stuff feels cool and fun, but like not enough that it's like, okay, what happened now, and like the game slows to a crawl.
Yeah. I think for me, honestly, like obviously I love SMT, but in terms of like things I would want to play like tabletop versions of, that's kind of lower on the
I
list,
would much rather play Final Fantasy, whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
Like there's a lot of things I'd like to see turn into a cool tabletop experience before SMT.
yeah. And I know I've seen people try on different forums and stuff, and no one's ever really been able to do it. I don't think so. I mean, I'm sure there are systems that you can adopt and just like change shit around. Like you can, I mean, you can do what we're kind of doing in like our Stars Without Number game, where like you just take the system, rip out all of like the lore attached to the gameplay, and like take the things that work with your setting, and then like kind of invent stuff that goes on top of it, like homebrew it. But yeah, I don't think that mainline SMT in particular, I don't think translates the best.
So when are we doing our Fate Stay Night tabletop game, Rosin?
Oh, after the Tokyo Mirage Sessions one.
Okay. I'll have a reality marble if it kills me.
Oh no. Noble Carnage Formtasm.
For mm,
Anyways, he says, thanks for the great podcast. Can't wait for the next one. Thanks, Jim.
thank you.
This is from Ninto, and he says, the HD Rumble seems so weird to me. Zach, did you get to play with it, and does it really feel as good as they say? That Ice Cube stuff sounds like magic, but maybe it isn't just because I don't understand the technology behind it. If you, or you too, Rosin, know what it is, could you explain that? I don't fucking know. It looks like just a more fancy-ass Rumble to me.
Nothing I played had rumble.
Oh. I guess
So
that'll have to remain an enigma.
yeah.
Thanks, Ninto. We'll find out
Sorry.
together. This person didn't leave a name, so I'm just gonna call them anonymous. Asks, how comfortable did the Joy-Cons feel? Their design looks interesting, but I can't help but feel like they're kind of small, and the button placement is kind of cramped when using them on their side. Did it feel cramped? Did they feel small?
I mean, I covered most of this. The only time it felt a little cramped was when it was like the one half of the Joy-Con on its side, but I ended up doing a weird thing with my hands where like one hand was kind of over it and the other one was under it, and that sounds really fucking stupid, but like it was the most comfortable way I felt. And I think only because I was using two buttons for Sonic, it was fine, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And for Mario, you're only using one of those face buttons. If you're playing a game that needs all four, it's probably going to feel a little cramped, and I would recommend doing one of the other control options if you can. Like the base with the two Joy-Cons in it doesn't feel cramped at all. The Pro controller doesn't feel cramped at all, you know.
Okay. The thing I keep seeing is that those things are really fucking light. Did you feel like that impacted your play at all, or not really?
It didn't impact my play at all, no.
Okay. All right. Well, that answers that. Thanks, anonymous person. This one's from Gonzalo, and he says, "Hello, Rosin and Zach. Hope you're doing well. My first question goes to Zach, since you mentioned that he played with the Nintendo Switch. You will probably answer this on the podcast, but how does the controller and the different set of modes feel in relation to comfort? I feel like we covered that.
Yeah,
So,
they
uh,
good.
but well, I guess he does say, how do they feel compared to specifically like a normal DualShock or Xbox controller, or even the 3DS controls?
So
Anything in relation to that, you'd have to say?
I like the DualShock 4 more.
Yeah, okay. I mean, the DualShock 4 is fucking phenomenal, so
DualShock 4 is my favorite controller, so I like that one a lot.
yeah, same.
Um,
Honestly,
the one
that
thing
thing
I
is
didn't
great.
the one thing I didn't talk about is that if you've seen the controller, you probably already know that it does the Xbox thing of the two analog sticks are not on the same level. One's higher, one's
I
lower.
hate that.
If you are more comfortable with Xbox controllers, you will be more comfortable with this. If you're more comfortable with PlayStation controllers, it might take you a minute. You know,
I hate that.
I got used to it pretty quickly, but yeah, it's really going to come down to a preference thing, and I'm sure there will be a third-party controller somewhere down the line that has the other style. But just for me personally, I feel like it's fine. My hands fit into the right position, you know. Um, it's really mostly going to be a mental thing with that analog stick situation. I like it more than the Wii U gamepad.
So the second question is, I've never been a fan of action RPGs, and having played some action RPGs, I find myself liking and disliking the games based around how good or decent the combat is. I heard great things about Tales of the Abyss and .hack GU, but somehow the combat didn't work for me. While in games like Xenoblade Chronicles and Nier, the combat worked if I played it in a particular way. What games, RPGs or not, have you played and didn't like unless you're playing in a particular way? Um, huh. I don't. I guess I. The only thing that really comes to mind is like with the later Metal Gear games, they made it a lot more viable to just go in guns blazing, and I never found that fun at all. So like, I only really like Metal Gear if I'm playing stealthily, I guess. But like,
um, there's a couple of like small examples I can use in games like Rise of the Tomb Raider and The Last of Us. They add a lot of like sonar options.
Yeah.
I always turn those off. I don't like that. It ruins the game for me completely.
Do you mean like see-through wall type stuff?
Yeah, see-through walls, sonars, like hint locators on the map, like on the screen. Any amount of that I can turn off and not have the game become impossible to play, I will. Um, I know they're there to make the game a little bit easier, but I feel like they go too far and kind of ruin the experience. Where a lot of the reason I would play a game like The Last of Us in terms of its gameplay is the tension,
Yeah.
and I feel like that kind of ruins that. Other than that, let me do the thing where I look at the game shelf and see if I can come
Oh
up with
boy,
any
the
other
WAFP
examples.
classic.
Now that I'm on a computer, I gotta get up and move over to it. Let's see.
I talked about in the Titanfall 2 Let's Play a little bit, but I had this thing where like I went through a lot of the old FPS games on PS3, and I just played through with only a handgun. And actually, some of those games are a lot better if you do that because they're a lot harder and actually like interesting. But I can't really like think of any offhand. But some of those older Call of Duties in particular are a lot better if you just play through with like shit guns. um, I don't know, like I can't really think of anything else in terms of like particular play. Well, actually, you know what? Fuck it. I was telling you about this, Zach. I've gotten a lot more mileage out of Crusader Kings 2 by not playing the intended way, but doing a thing where every time I'm about to lose power, I just will reload my save game and then switch to whoever kicked me out of power. So I can kind of keep like I kind of play as a country more than play as the actual like bloodline like you're supposed to. But just for me personally, I kind of like seeing that and kind of continuing that history, even if that's not exactly what the developers intended, and that's taking out a dimension of the gameplay. But I mean, you can't go wrong with playing through as just the Bloodline too. There's a lot of validity in just doing that as well. So
I feel like there's a lot of examples I can think of that I just am blanking on right now. Because I feel like there's been a lot of examples where I said that I only play a game a certain way, and everyone like freaks out about how wrong I am. But I can't think of it right now. One thing I will say though about the games you listed, and I know this wasn't the question, but the action RPGs, I feel like that genre, the action RPG genre, was definitely rougher in the PS2 era than it is now. So
yeah,
Dot Hack GU is a good game, but Dot Hack games combat don't hold up all that well today.
I think the thing with Dot Hack more so is that those games are fine, and then you keep playing them, and it's like, oh god, these are repetitive as fuck.
Oh yeah.
Like those, they don't feel bad. It's just like they get really boring after a little bit. So
Yeah. I mean GU is a huge improvement over the original 4, but in terms of gameplay, not anything else.
and he says also this is unrelated, but after a while of being burnt out of MMOs, I give FF14 a trial, and I really liked it, and I will try to get into the raiding scene if I can.
Yeah.
Hope everything goes well. Can't wait to try out the Switch myself. Good luck.
Nice. More FF14 players is always a good thing. They're adding new patch coming in a couple of days. They're adding a data center wide party finder. So now, even if you can't get onto Gilgamesh, if you're on a server in the same data center, then let me know and we can do some partying up through the party finder.
Oh, that was another thing actually I forgot to mention. Speaking of like long time investment games, I picked up God Eater 2 Rage Burst, which I haven't spent enough time with, but I want to play that with Trick a little bit and get into that too. So, kind of sad that a Monster Hunter didn't get announced for Switch, but I guess they're doing the updated version of Generations for 3DS still. So
Everyone, don't forget E3 is still a couple months away.
yeah, that's true. Oh god, yeah, we'll probably get a lot of good shit there actually. When's Tokyo Game Show again? That's in fall though, actually.
Yeah, that's later in the year.
Yeah, so
I'm sure we'll get one or two new game announcements for E3.
Yeah.
Maybe Pokemon Stars.
I'm sure we'll get the I mean, even like right before the presentation happened, the Binding of Isaac people are like, yeah, we're gonna be on Switch. So like I'm sure we'll get the weird indie thing here and there. Like I know Stardew
Yeah.
Valley is supposed to come out later in the year. I'm sure that there'll be a little like random ports here and there, so that'll be fun to
We
see.
still need to find out what Retro Studios is up to.
Oh fuck, you're right. They didn't talk about that at all, did they?
Nope.
Huh. That'll be interesting to see. Oh yeah, there's a new SMT thing.